You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad is Liberty. Each week we strive to bring you the best guests in talk radio. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad delivers weekly interviews of noteworthy politicians, experts, and activists. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad is bringing the party to the Libertarian Party and launching ideas in your direction. Check us out at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com. You can hear me, Kurt Nelson, and the beautiful Heather Nixon talk about the ideas of liberty, rock and roll.
Hey there, Liberty lovers. This is Mark Claire of the Lions of Liberty podcast, where we strive to bring you great conversations about the ideas of liberty 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Check us out at lionsofliberty.com.
Hey guys, this is Roger Paxton, and if you're fed up with the government running every single aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, then what's wrong with you? Check us out at thelavaflow.com, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow Podcast, striking the root every single episode.
We are supported by listeners like you. Donate per month or make a one-time donation through PayPal or Patreon at wearelibertarians.com. Welcome to We Are Libertarians for this week. I am your host, Chris Spangle. We are live and on location at DK New Media with our friends Doug and Harrison, and we will get to them in just a moment. But as always, we're brought to you by the We Are Libertarians Network. Please go on go on iTunes, go on Google Play, search We Are Libertarians. You'll see all of our podcasts. We've got some new podcasts like Miranda's World, Tad Talk, The Chris Spangle Show, The Boss Hog of Liberty with Jeremiah Morrill. You've heard that in the feed. So please check those out. This episode is brought to you by two very important sponsors that we want you to support and thank for supporting us. As a growing new media platform, we need support from not only sponsors like our two sponsors, but also the listeners to go and support them. And Aaron told me that several of you reached out and liked 812 Farms' Facebook page and sent them a thank you note. That is so great, because if you thank our sponsors for supporting us, they're going to keep coming back. So I want to tell you about our first sponsor, and that is Liberty Valiance with Zach Haval. Imagine if Louder with Crowder and the Jason Stapleton program had a kid. That would be Liberty Valiance with Zach Haval. Zach Haval, the millennial voice of the Liberty Movement, explores current events using basic libertarian principles of limited government, individualism, and free markets through the use of comically bad impressions and sketches. Check him out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or at libertyvaliance.com, VALIANCE, for you public school students. Sponsor number 2 is 812 Farms, located in Columbus, Indiana, and they supply home brewers and commercial breweries with locally grown hops. In the process of getting a destination brewery started in Bartholomew County, they're using all Indiana-grown ingredients, and they're going to start a brew pub and a wedding barn and an event center, restaurant. They're really doing big things out there, and if you know anything about the hops industry, I, of course, being an expert drinker... Okay, that's a joke. Know that hops is one of the fastest-growing industries in agriculture today, and we're so proud to have 812 Farms with us because a lot of you are homebrewers, and if you're in the Indiana area, please go support 812 Farms, and if you're not, then they're going to have a wedding facility, an event center coming soon, probably this year, maybe early next year, and we want the We Are Libertarians community to support them and thank them for supporting us. They do hop sales and beer infusion events with bars. And if you're in Indiana, the Tap on Mass Ave in Indianapolis has their hops in it. It's called Permafrost, an India Pale Lager. Thank you for joining us here on this episode of We Are Libertarians. Please support us. Please support our advertisers, but also support us through PayPal or Patreon. $5 an episode. It goes a long way in supporting all of our new ventures. And I apologize.
Hashtag professionalism.
I am sorry for being so unprofessional. You guys know that I have the utmost professionalism. Isn't that right, Greg Lenz?
And I have to say, you're on a libertarian podcast, fellas, when the intro reads like Anna Karenina. It is full autism, paragraph blocks of text. This could be on a final.
I was waiting for Ishmael to start.
Now that is the voice of Doug Karr. Doug, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Glad to have you in-house.
Thank you so much. And Harrison Painter?
What's up, everybody?
Yes, I really punted on that last name. I thought it was Painter, but I should have written down your name, and I apologize.
It is Painter, like Picasso, right? I create
Yes.
masterpieces.
Yes, masterpieces. He's a wordsmith.
Like Picasso, only Harrison.
Yeah. Also down at the end of the table
Harrison Picasso.
is Intern Ed. Intern Ed, how are you doing?
Just fine.
Ed, the oldest intern in broadcasting. We are so glad to have him
I
helping
can't
us
believe you
out.
came back.
I had my doubts, but
Yeah.
The first episode was a shit show.
Yeah.
I got infected.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're
I
going to-
managed to
Was it
avoid
Ed?
that.
I have the curable aids like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, so we are live on location at DK New Media at the Speakeasy in downtown Indianapolis. This is a really cool place.
Thank you.
Yeah, what is the Speakeasy for those who may not know?
So basically, it's a growing movement across the United States. Instead of when you're first starting a business, you need support from other businesses, and you can't really afford rent.
Right.
But you want a place to go to work, and so co-working facilities are popping up all over the United States. The capitalist side of me will say it's a great business to be in because you can really up your dollars per square footage.
Right.
Because you get tons of people subscribing and coming to the space. But the Speakeasy downtown has a bunch of anchor clients like us that we have leases and we have offices. And then everywhere in between is co-working groups that are doing, young guys doing startups to Pattern Magazine is here, and and they
That's
just
awesome.
so they just don't want office space. They don't want that overhead, but they want a great place to work.
As
And
people
I
in
think-
media, we understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're up to 700 members now.
yeah, 700 or 800.
That is
Time for
great.
another one.
Yeah, they actually just launched one in Carmel. So
Yeah.
platform, I'm going to get it wrong.
Platform 24. I
I'm
believe.
shocked.
Or
there's
37
affordable commercial
or-
space up there.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
So now Doug is a guy that I followed on Twitter forever, and he's a local marketing guy, and you run what companies?
I run the MarTech blog, which is basically martech.zone. So that's marketing technology. That's a 10-year-old blog. And then we do podcasts along with that. And then DK New Media, which is an agency behind it. So it's kind of a cheat that we work with marketing and technology companies, but we also have an audience for marketing and technology companies.
Yeah. And so I actually, as somebody who is thinking about my future and plotting the course of We Are Libertarians and want to see where this can go in the future as a business, was just sitting down with, Doug and Harrison about a week ago, I think it was. And we were talking through several different things and several different ideas. And they were so impressed with me, Greg,
You're very impressive. You're dear leader.
that they were so hopeful to get on We Are Libertarians.
How were you really?
I'm actually surprised. My my son.
Yeah,
he was
Bill,
the president
yeah.
of the Libertarian Party out at University of Illinois.
So he already has a bad impression of libertarian.
And I have a feeling my son is a little bit jealous. So
Really?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well.
He's heard of We Are Libertarians.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
He actually, I think he knew Hannah, who gave us the plague.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to say anything, but
Yeah, she was on last week. And did you get sick too?
No, I did not.
Okay, well,
brutal, man.
I know. I'm dying. I've been
I have
dying for a
102
week.
fever since Monday.
Jeez, wow. Well, I didn't get that bad
And you
because,
showed up,
Yeah. This is gonna be great.
and you sat. In the middle of all of
I've been
us.
dying.
What the hell's wrong with
We're
you?
libertarians. We invade things. It's like when the Europeans came to the United States. We infect you. That's our strategy.
now see, I didn't get as sick because I take vitamins and I
You take
exercise
super male vitality.
and I take probiotics. And if you would get on the healthy living train with Brett Bittner and I, then you'd be in like Flynn. You
I
wouldn't
don't want to
so
be
sick.
80 sitting in a nursing home with you and Bittner.
Amen. Right?
Yes, I
I
want
want
to
to be
slide
dead before I hit the floor.
Hey.
head first into hell.
I will never be retiring anywhere near Bittner.
Oh, yeah, you will, because you know how he is. He doesn't leave you alone.
Well, should we get into the whole Bittner thing?
He's like a barnacle.
I don't think we should talk about the what's going on behind the scenes of We Are Libertarians at Bittner.
No, it's inside baseball.
Okay, all right, yeah. It's
Petty.
It's
We're
something,
not going to be petty.
It's
This is going to be
something
about
else.
Trump. We're going to be petty enough.
It's something else.
Harrison wants to talk Trump.
Love Trump.
We
Oh, no, I don't. I don't
you
love
don't?
Trump.
I thought you loved Trump.
Hillary. Oh, no. I don't like her either.
But here's why I want you to take a probiotic or a vitamin or 3, because we need to outlast our haters.
That's true.
I can't do this on my own.
Bury me upside down so my critics can kiss my ass.
So
need
I
more bike racks downtown.
Damn right.
I will be appearing on an upcoming episode of MarTech,
Absolutely.
MarTech.
Lazy ass Doug would
Amazing
mix it.
episode, by the way.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, you guys are at the cutting edge of like the fastest growing industry around.
I like that. We're at the cutting edge.
You are really. If you're thought
we're right
leaders,
there.
if you're thought leaders in that
If you would have
segment,
walked in here when Chris walked in here when I was crying in my beer, it would have.
well, just you can have the best opinions. It just takes a while for people to find you.
Right. And so they
Trust
have.
me, we know. 5 years.
Here at DK New Media, they've built out an awesome podcast studio with great equipment, and so we were just hanging out talking, and we got to chatting, and I just decided, you know what, we should have. They gave me some great advice for my career.
Did they?
And so I should return the favor and bless them with an appearance on We Are the
Dear
Libertarians.
leader, I am absolutely feeling blessed today.
I mean, this is better than the Pope.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
More connections.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Us babies.
I just love when people show me the proper respect.
Oh, I can't start yet?
Oh, you get this whole thing was introduced to me as, well, Greg, I introduced you to these guys that run a really, very prominent marketing tech blog and said that you're basically unoffendable and explained how you are at parties. And it's like, oh, fantastic. And then they immediately start in like, we're going to try to do everything we can to offend you. And I'm like, just don't criticize Hitler. We're going to be good.
Yeah. So we'll see how this episode goes.
That's off limits.
Yeah, is it right?
I'm going to be unprofessional to see if I can raise this mic a little bit here. Hey, it's my podcast. It's fine. It's fine. I just don't want hunched over. I gotta
Alpha.
Yeah, I want to show my spread.
Yeah. Wow.
So, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Much appreciated.
So
You got it.
yeah. So
Well, in my heart, I'm a libertarian, right?
yeah. So
I
met
just
you-
laugh at you guys during elections. That's
Right. So what are you?
I am. My heart and soul is. I would say I'm a total anarchist. I just can't stand the federal government taking over anything.
Right.
Well, they do so well.
Locally, I got to admit that I'm a little bit more on the liberal side from a local level, but that's where we can hire and fire. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
Accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah. Communitarian kind of.
Now, what about you here?
Well, I would say I'm right in the middle, right? I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in freedom. I believe in limited government. The Second Amendment guy through and through, right?
Yeah. We're both locked and loaded, right?
I think
Are you?
so.
Yeah.
You packing heat?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You packing heat?
Yeah.
Nice.
You've shot a gun, correct?
No, never.
Never?
Never.
Really?
We're gonna change that.
We're going to have a range day.
A libertarian that's never shot a gun?
Never smoked
He
weed.
is the worst libertarian on the planet.
Never.
Literally, like
Yeah.
lifestyle-wise.
It's as Joe Hauptman once said. Libertarians fight for the lifestyle much more interesting than they live.
Doesn't do any drug, doesn't drink, in bed by 11.
Well, that's okay. That's fine
9.
there. But guns, come on.
He hates freedom.
No, I protect freedom. Okay,
With what?
with the podcast.
With your kale drink
Podcast.
and probiotics? Get
Speaking
the hell
of-
out of here.
I was waiting to be pitched by you about your Herbalife.
Herbalife.
Yeah. So
Or whatever your little green concoction was that you put on Facebook.
No.
Yeah,
I drink raw juice every day, right?
Juice.
Juice, raw
Gotcha.
juice.
Yeah, but tell
it's
'em what's in it.
amazing. Kale,
It looked
cucumber,
good.
Love it.
It looked
right? Apple,
love it.
celery.
sugar.
No sugar, no sugar.
Apples have sugar.
I'm trying to
is
get healthy,
sugar.
right? I'm a man of girth. I'm
Apple-
trying to be a little
apples-
less round.
We weren't going to say anything.
Apples
And,
and carrots are sugar.
Okay, you're right. Yes, technically, scientifically, he is correct. But these are not processed sugars, right?
Oh,
God gave them to us.
We're not having
natural
ho-hos.
sugars. They
and-
don't make you fat.
Well, they'll make you fat if you eat too many of
If you
them.
ate 15 apples a day, you might get fat.
Although there's like a
You put it in a
banana diet
Starbucks,
out there.
mocha, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do kale. Like I don't know how you do kale.
How can you not do kale?
No, kale is an instant. Within 20 minutes of kale, I am running for my reading glasses and grabbing my iPhone and heading for the toilet.
That's a good thing.
No.
You don't want to be Elvis dying with 50 pounds of impacted poop in your
How many people that eat kale have Graceland?
yeah.
That's a good point.
Look, here's the deal. You said it before. Like I laugh at all my friends, my skinny, healthy friends, and I'm like, those poor bastards are going to be just fading away slowly in their retirement homes and everything else. Not me. It's boom, gone.
I'm going to live forever.
Done.
Yeah, I'm going to live.
Oh, I mean,
my
what if
mission.
that's the reality? What if we can just regenerate stuff and we had this great time and you guys were, drinking green shakes
Now, I thought...
and we were, we were partying our asses
I'm
off
gonna
and we're in the same place.
I'm going to 3D print a new liver,
Okay.
some new kidneys, some new lung. I'm going to live forever, I'm telling you.
I'm going to get balloons inserted in my stomach. Have you seen that?
John Daly, the golfer, had that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now, we were just concerned, Harrison, because we thought we were getting ourselves into some sort of pyramid scheme pitch. Because
a lot of Libertarian Party members want you to join their team.
Well, I can sell you some juice for $20 a piece, but you got to bring 2 people with you and have those 2 people get 2 people.
I'm part of a network of
what's the fee?
You can't claim us.
You're in.
I already claimed Ed.
This is a ground floor opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's a $1 trillion global business.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean,
is this that biblical juice?
I think so, yeah. Well, I'll go down to the Ark in Kentucky after the podcast.
Yeah.
By God.
Right? Drink some juice. And
I'm a minister.
Kale,
so
legal advice.
well, I was concerned for Greg's
Sport
safety
drinks.
because he was an hour and a half late. You're late to everything, and I'm always late. You owe these men an apology.
I owe you both a sincere apology.
You not only owe them an apology, you owe me an apology.
I'm very sorry that you're in love with a 20-year-old.
No,
Ed, when you
no.
were
I want a good
confident-
apology, and you must apologize to the audience because, as we have established, I am the audience. So,
I'm very sorry, dear leader, for making you look bad publicly.
thank you.
And our audience means the world to me and to you, and I would never want to lose their trust.
All right, thank you.
Doug and Harrison, I am so sorry for this terrible crime I committed.
You were
It's worse
actually
than-
early.
Now,
It was worse than the Haiti earthquake.
I would just
Harrison
like
was here like 30 seconds ahead of you. So.
Yeah.
His first words to me, I've never met you in person, are, you don't have a cape on.
No, a hood.
Yeah, well,
Because that's better.
I want you to send that tape to Rob Kendall and show him how apologies are done and how it is done. I'm willing to come to his wedding, stand up on the altar,
Willing.
and stand there and let him apologize to me in the middle of the wedding.
I'll extend that message
Thank you.
and give him my apology as an example, which I am certain you will not receive.
Well, that's his loss, isn't it?
You know how those Republicans are.
if it's a wedding, he should get used to apologizing. So
Oh boy, is he already.
So we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk several things. We've got Intern Ed here, and his goal in his internship is how to learn to communicate ideas more effectively. So we're going to talk with these guys about how to market Ed, Intern Ed, and make him a communication machine. We're also going to talk a little bit.
Did you talk as nice about Ed as you did about your other intern?
Way nicer.
No.
Way more intimate.
Okay, I got to edit this out. You're going to get me in trouble at work.
She's not going to listen.
No, she's not the one I'm worried about.
People at work listen to the Libertarian Show?
100%.
Really?
They
I'm flattered.
Dude, they listen to everything I put out, and they talk to me about it.
Well, then I apologize because I'm making all this up. This is like when I pretended Creighton was drunk in the room and almost got him fired from Young Americans for Liberty.
No, I'm editing this part out.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
So Kat had the blue dress on. Tell me more.
okay.
So much for libertarianism and freedom.
I know,
I know.
censorship
Jesus.
all the way through.
Why do you think I'm doing what I'm doing?
Nothing says comedy like censorship.
Yes. So we're going to
I
talk a
think
little
the
bit.
man's keeping us down right now.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to Ed about communicating libertarian and broader ideals. And I had an interesting discussion with these guys, especially Harrison, about the Trump effect. And so we talked a lot about Trump and the alt-right, but we've never really talked about it in terms of Trump's effect of language outside of just the political sphere. So we're going to talk a little bit about how politics are now influencing marketing and if it is or not. First, I want to go to Dear Leader. Okay, we want it to read a letter. We always encourage you to write us letters, ask us questions. As you know, Greg and I are very successful and handsome, and we have
Radio people.
many successful endeavors and relationships. We aren't in relationships. We're both single, which is why we're
Libraries
successful.
of leather-bound books.
We're very successful at not having relationships. And but if you need relationship advice, home improvement advice, political advice, whatever, then please send us a letter at editor@wearelibertarians.com. This comes from Jeremy Franklin. Dear Leader, thank you for allowing my minuscule words to grace such a great inbox. It really is great and huge. So huge. Some people say it's the biggest and best inbox around. Jokes aside, my name is Jeremy Franklin. I don't know why that was a joke, Jeremy. I'm from a very, very small town in West Texas, which, by the way, I have found out is the #1 state that listens to Weird Libertarians.
I like to
Beat
think it's
DN.
the SMU connection.
Yeah, so Texas is our biggest state, so we'd love to come to Texas sometime and do a live show.
Well, God bless Texas.
Hit us up.
Right?
It's a hell of a drive from one end to the other.
I know. Well, we'll do it in Austin. And
There's this donkey show in Juarez.
You're going to go to the only liberal city in
Absolutely.
Texas to do the
No,
libertarian
we're not.
show?
Well,
yeah, right.
Austin sucks.
Yeah.
except for UT.
Alex Jones is there.
It's a bunch of neckbeards and they're,
Alex Jones.
whatever, not for profit.
We're going to go say hi. In West Texas, and I have been listening to the show for a couple of years now, and I believe you and I even have had a couple of Twitter interactions. I don't remember, Jeremy, but thank you. I'm emailing in hopes of becoming a regular contributor to Wall through articles, opinion pieces, and hopefully another podcast on the network. I feel as though I have a unique viewpoint that will be valuable to the family, having worked for the government and having lived quite the life for the ripe old age of 25. I've honestly never really put myself out there like this, but I feel very drawn to the Wall platform, and I believe it is where I would be most comfortable and be able to have an effect. If there is anything at all you would like me to know if you would like to know about me or what I can do for the team, I'm an open book. I'm very much looking forward to your reply. All hail dear leader, Jeremy Franklin. Now, Jeremy, I sent Jeremy back the link to the submissions page, which you can find at wearelibertarians.com, and just hover over a contact, and you'll see the submissions page. We are looking for contributors in all aspects, and please get in touch with us there and send us an email at editor@wearelibertarians.com if you're a writer, if you're interested in videos, if you're interested in podcasting.
Lonely.
If you're just lonely.
And obviously, brevity doesn't have to be within your...
No.
Libertarians and brevity do not mix.
Right.
We are pedantic. We pontificate.
Right. This
we
is a
condescend.
very long podcast. So
verbose.
If you're interested in being a contributor or a writer or whatever, please hit us up at editor@wearelibertarians.com. You can also, by the way, follow us on Snapchat. We are Libertarians, and we've got all kinds of great things there. So let's get into it right away. Let's get into Ed.
Well, shouldn't we say congratulations to Jeremy for getting inside of your big, wide inbox?
He got into my inbox.
Yeah, congratulations, Jeremy.
It is not easy to get in your box.
He got a reply, which is a very big deal.
It is.
It is a very big deal. Jeremy understands, but Jeremy showed the proper respect.
He did. All hail, dear leader.
Unlike Brett Bittner, who was on my list.
Hail, short bus kids. You know how that is.
So, Intern Ed... the lights just went out.
We're getting all intimate.
Oh, this is very intimate. So
we've never done Wall After Dark.
Yeah.
little Barry White coming on here in a minute.
Now,
5 guys, 5 mics.
This is the Libertarian Love Show.
Yeah.
After Dark.
Well, unfortunately, it's just a bunch of unattractive white guys. So
So we're going to form a party.
Right. Yeah. We're mad about not getting
Gary
laid.
Johnson's our nominee.
Right. Now, Intern Ed, you ran for office, right?
Yes, I did.
What office did you run for?
School board.
Okay, so you ran for school board, and when you ran for office, what kind of things frustrated you?
Well, with me personally, was just my inability to, at least as I saw it, communicate with people. Let them know what I was thinking clearly and in a way that they liked what they were hearing.
Can you give us an example?
Well, I think everybody agrees that schools aren't the best, but if you start off a speech with that, you initially have everybody turned off.
Mm-hmm. Imagine I'm at a town forum. Ed, why should I vote for you for school board?
Because I'll pay you $50.
Done. Oh, political effectiveness. House of Cards.
Wow, he's a quick learner on the political front.
Right.
Yeah, no, but that's the hard part is, it's an elevator pitch like in tech. Is you have to have it succinct, it has to hit home, and it has to be about them.
Right. And that's hard to do, is to speak to the audience.
Yeah.
Figure out what your audience wants to hear.
Harrison, Doug, when you guys are sitting down with a client, and you guys do political work, correct?
We have.
You have, okay. And you dabble a little bit in the political world. When you're working with someone like that, or you're just working with an individual client, what are some tips that you give people when they have to go sell themselves? I mean, you and I have talked a lot about just having confidence, Doug. I mean, especially is that people undersell themselves.
Yeah, people absolutely undersell themselves. But the first thing is you got to tap into the person's head and understand what value they want you to bring. So I'll give you a perfect example. If you take 2 different sales conversations, first sales conversation, you go in and you talk about how great you are, what product you have, what the pricing is, everything else, and you expect to sell anything, you're just going to fail miserably. Mm-hmm. the second person that would get the deal would go in and start a conversation and ask them what they thought. What do you think about this? Where are you having problems? What kind of troubles are you having?
That spin model, like that.
Yeah,
spin selling.
Well, it's not that. Like what I want to find out is what the problem is and whether I can fix it. Because look, if Ed talks to somebody and let's say Ed wants to, his goal is to lower book fees, right? He has to make sure that the person on the other side thinks that's an important thing. So I would go in with with the question, what do you think about the fees that we're paying? What do you think about, are you happy with the book fee system that we have now? And when you get someone that says, well, yeah, I don't mind it at all. Well, guess what? It's not
right.
They're not. You can't sell them, but someone that says, yeah, I thought my kids were going to a public school and I got a $400 bill. This is absolutely ridiculous. He's like, I know. And that's exactly what I want to change when I'm in office. And so what you're doing is saying, look, I want to make sure that your problem is the value that I'm bringing to the table, and then pursue that.
Need discovery, really.
Yeah, you really almost don't want an elevator pitch. You want an unelevator pitch, right? You want to say, what do you need?
Right.
What are your pain points, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would expand on that saying, look, it's not just about the pain points, but telling the story as well, right? Because that's how we process information. And we brought up my fandom for Trump earlier, right?
Make America great again.
And it's not Trump as a politician. Look, and you brought up the marketing and politics, right? Politics is the major leagues of marketing, right? It really is. I mean, it's the top notch. It's winning over the entire country. It's the entire process. And Donald Trump did a friggin' amazing job
as a hobby
at doing that, right? And I can tell you, there's not one guy in the world that's done more for my confidence than him. Because if that guy can spew what he's done and become president of the United States, anything truly is possible.
Yeah.
Right? But how did he do it? Right? Stories and telling people what they want to hear. Right? Over and over. Repetition. Right? If he truly cared about the book, what we say, the book fees or whatever,
right,
then you're just pounding away at those book fees. And guess what? You're talking about little Johnny who couldn't afford those book fees. And now little Johnny's going to be working at the drive-thru in McDonald's.
Two families that their kids couldn't graduate because they still owed book fees, right? You think that's fair? This kid would have been valedictorian or whatever.
And here's where I was going to interject, because I think you're exactly right. But the other thing is to give them a scapegoat. Like, I'm a big believer in mimetic theory, and that like all of humanity is rivals going after the same thing and then warring, having a scapegoat depended on, and then it sort of resettles and happens again. Trump was excelled at giving America a scapegoat. And he did it time and time again. Lock her up. Right? Somebody's doing the raping.
The media.
Ted Cruz's dad killed JFK. I mean, he always had a scapegoat, and his people believed it blindly. I mean, it was incredible. Fact-checking didn't matter. Nothing mattered because he gave them a scapegoat they'd been looking for.
You know what? I got to say, so I voted for Trump, and the funny thing that I say is I don't say that I believed everything he said. I didn't believe anything he said. It was like my crazy grandpa at the dinner table, where you couldn't bring your friends over really because grandpa would always embarrass everybody. That was Trump to me. It was like, I can't believe he's going to say it, isn't he? He's going to say it. Oh my God, he said it. I love that he said it. And I think for the last 8 years, I've been told that I should feel bad about owning a business. I should feel bad about that I selected my color at birth. I should feel bad about being middle class. I should feel. I've been told for the last 8 years that the weight of the world is literally all my fault. Everything was my fault. And so when this crazy old man came out and just went, yeah, no, it's their fault, and he didn't care. It wasn't that I believed him. I was just thankful that somebody would step up and absolutely just go in the opposite direction. I told you I'm an anarchist from a federal standpoint. He's the perfect match for that. And now people are like, they're Republicans, and I'm like, he's not a Republican. No. He's
a nationalist.
He's not even close. He
loves America, and that's about his only framework.
Well, let's not turn this into the Trump praising podcast.
It wasn't
here.
praising,
but you kind of have to.
Yeah,
you kind of have to.
But he did the things that Harrison's getting at is the repetition, the absolute bluntness, the saying something that, like, I agree with Harrison wholeheartedly. Like, we've had great talks about this. The fact that what he accomplished goes against the grain of every political analyst in the last 10 years on how you should
American
handle
that watches like CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS.
Exactly. And so that's the thing, is it gives hope to anybody. It doesn't matter what it doesn't really matter how good you are, how eloquent you are, how wealthy you are. All that matters is literally that if you keep pounding the message home and you don't have to take it anymore. You don't have to eat it anymore.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I got so tired after the election hearing everybody say, well, this was a victory for homophobes and racists.
Yeah.
And it's people were
How original.
finally.
I've never heard that
Yeah.
before.
It was people were hearing somebody say things that they had not heard a politician say.
I love that this is 5 white guys talking about this podcast.
Well, we know how things should be.
But here's the problem for anybody who's running for a local office like Ed.
Yeah.
You're not a billionaire, and you're not a reality TV star, and you don't have that mega platform where you can rise above getting bogged down. So to be bombastic is a huge risk, because I've seen forever Libertarian and Republican and Democratic candidates try to get attention by being over the top, by I'm gonna wear, I'm gonna.
Well, that's novel.
No,
that's novelty and hokey kind of.
Yeah, but I would argue about Trump being a billionaire. Trump barely spent any money of anybody.
But
so he ran one of the cheapest campaigns
ever. He's also got 30 years of media manipulation.
That's what he had. He had brand awareness.
And he knew how to hack a for-profit media. You give for-profit media eyeballs and sensationalism, they have no option to cover Hillary Clinton.
Well, he totally wagged the dog. Sure. He knew every single time that when the story started to change away from him, he could use his shock value
Mexican UFOs.
Yeah, to bring everything back.
But how can or should a local candidate apply that in running for office?
I can answer this.
We both can. Go ahead. You start.
I mean, for a local candidate, first it tells you that you don't have to have money. That you can really be absolutely blunt in people's face about what the problem is and what you're going to do about it. I mean, that's the first thing. You don't have to play political correctness. If you play to that, you're playing to the middle and everything else. Here's the thing. Mitt Romney said it and lost the election because of it, right? Look, we're not after the left. We're not after the right. We're after that really tiny group of people in the middle to sway their decision. Like, that's the thing that people make the mistake of. Republicans suck at it. Republicans are always trying to placate to the left, and it's the stupidest thing ever, because nobody's ever going to vote for them.
He had a guac bowl.
Yeah, but an intelligent politician says, let's talk to those people in the middle that we can sway their decision. We can sway their mind. Like, I always think Libertarians, if there was one party that could get the black vote, it's Libertarians. Mm-hmm. I cringe every time I'm like, why aren't they taking advantage of both parties? One just totally having them in destitution and the other one ignoring them, And so, like, for Ed, I would say, look, you've got a portion of the people that are energetic enough to go vote, right? It's a very small portion right there. That's a small percentage. And then of that percentage, you're going to have a portion that's on the left, a portion that's on the right of what are ever argument. And I'm not saying political left or right. I'm just saying they're on each side. But then you have that small group in the middle. Those are the only people that you have to sway. Those are the only ones that you have to talk to. And what Trump found out was how to talk to them. What he found out how to talk to them was talk to them like they were blue collar, talk to them like they were normal Americans, empathize with them with the situation that we're in, acknowledge that they have, in this case, you got kids that are going into fail factories that aren't preparing them for a future, that are billing the shit out of you, that their superintendent doesn't even come to school. He gets a $250,000
4 years.
Yeah. He consult. And he's got a company car, and look, and then you've got your son here that they don't care about him. You know, they don't care about them, and that's what I want to change. Well, that's an emotional pull into that person.
Now, Ed, is that something that you can implement? I mean, when you hear that, how do you process that, and how would you implement that?
I can hear it and I can understand it. The hard part is implementing it.
Yeah.
There's a very big fear in the Libertarian Party of being disagreeable.
Yes.
They are absolutely scared to death of being polarizing.
Or being disliked in any way.
Yeah, they want to be everybody's second choice.
Unless it's libertarians disliking each other.
Which is most of it.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God!
At the national
military,
level,
you're not a real libertarian.
Oh yeah, people will message us and go, "Did you hear about this libertarian fighting with this libertarian?" I'm like, I haven't heard about it at all.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
We don't live in that world.
Yeah.
Like,
we avoid the echo chamber almost
right.
exclusively.
Like, I don't
terrible.
care what Judd Weiss said, but like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so.
When it's time to privatize the roads, I'll talk to you. But until then,
So
I don't worry about it.
Here's what I would say to Ed is if you go out and you talk to these people over and over and over again, like it's not a speech that you can sit at home and fine tune. It is those conversations and hearing those stories and being able to tell those stories over and over and over again. Yeah, there's a reason why every president, does the State of the Union, points up at the upper deck and says, there's John.
right.
Right.
And that's what they're doing is they're doing the emotional, pull in. But they've gone city after city after city after city, and they've heard the story over and over and over and over again, where they can't help but be eloquent in telling the story. You know?
So do you feel? What is the roadblock in your mind? Is it that you aren't eloquent enough? It's that you're not educated enough? What is the insecurity?
Eloquence and you don't want to offend people.
Right.
You should want to.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take care of the eloquence. Because the only reason that anyone struggles with eloquence is they're afraid
that is true.
Well, here's the deal. Having a libertarian walk into a school district is offensive right off the bat.
Well, we are offensive.
But like there is no way around that. Right? Your job as a libertarian is absolutely to fight these union buried,
the organization
embedded
you're running to lead.
Yeah, so they're going to hate you no matter what, and that's that percentage that you're never going to change. That's why you have to go to these people that you can talk to.
I mean, those are thoughts I've had since.
Yeah.
I was so worried about not upsetting people.
Yeah.
And maybe I should. Well, obviously I should have.
But people should be upset.
Right.
That's
right. And we're at a really cool time in history because what's probably the number one topic? I'm sure it's probably overtaken porn by now, right? Is politics.
Oh, yeah.
Politics, right?
It's Russian hacking.
But here's the problem, right? You've got all these people so passionate about Trump or Hillary, the right, the left, this, that, or the other. They don't even know who their mayor is in their city.
Yeah.
Right, or who's on their school board, who's on their town council, right? So you can't sit here and tell me you're passionate about politics when you don't even know who your mayor is.
You're passionate about outrage.
Right.
That's what those people are passionate
about. But we're in a situation now where we can truly start educating people and say, look, if you truly want to create this wave, if you truly want to create change, dude, we can't do it top down. It's got to be bottom up.
Right.
And it comes with guys like you and getting elected, right? And back to your point, you have to understand who your audience is and who you're talking to. So last year I did a couple of videos. I don't want to say what counties, but I kind of did a video helping pass memorandums for school districts. And when I was sitting there with some of those superintendents, their message was so off base, and I had to help get it on base, right? It was, well, the financial revenue of the business. Dude,
forecast projections were off, and
absolutely.
So we're going to need to raise taxes.
Mom and Dad don't care about that, right? Grandma doesn't care about that. What Grandma and Mom and Dad care about is little Johnny and little Susie going to get the education that I want them to get, right? So we need to stop talking so much about business all the time and more about Susie and how we're going to help these kids and get them on the right track, because we're out of line right now completely.
This is where I think Democrats do an incredible job, is when, let's say a budget cut, right? A budget cut is always going to impair one person negatively. I don't care if it's out of a million people. Democrats will go find that person and tell that story, and they will
in a press conference
pour into your soul about, and how do you argue with that? Right. And that's what we're saying is what the story does is it pulls away the argument. Like like the example that I gave of a kid, I was a single dad, so I know I had to pay the book bill before my kids graduated. I owed a shitload of money. Can I say shitload on your podcast? Okay.
Curse all the
Fuck yes.
But it was ridiculous how much money I owed, and literally my kids got notices saying they would not be able to stand in graduating. They would not be able to celebrate their graduation despite their
graduating
grades and everything else unless I paid this stupid bill. To which I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't get child support because I'm a man.
You didn't use that white privilege card?
I didn't use my white privilege card.
What do you mean inconvenience?
Yeah.
I'm a white male.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so these are the stories, right? I'm sure there are kids, and I'm just going back to this book one because it pisses me off the most. But that's the thing is, if someone says, well, we can't cut the book bill, that's when you look them in the eye and say, are you telling me that Jane, she can't graduate and move on with her life? She can't celebrate finishing 5 years of high school because her mom doesn't have a couple more dollars to pay that bill?
Yeah.
Is that what
her friends make fun of her
is
the
that
entire
exactly
summer?
is that what you're telling me? And Democrats do that beautifully.
Pushing grandma off a cliff.
Exactly.
See,
exactly.
and
And half the time they don't even have a real story. No. Have you ever noticed that?
It's always a straw man.
I always ask people, like, show me that person.
Yeah.
And they can never.
When
show
Reagan
me
counted the
person.
homeless, there's 2.5 million homeless people. No, there's 250,000.
Yeah.
We counted them.
Yeah.
So Greg and I differ on this because I'm all about using emotion.
Oh, yeah, you sell the emotion
I
better
think
than
that
anybody.
I think that emotion is an effective tool in political persuasion. Greg
most.
does not.
It pulls
I
away
think-
the argument.
Oh, no, I think you are. I just am not as good as you.
I think if you go and listen to The Cost, which is a podcast of We Are Libertarians, The Cost, the real human, the cost, the human toll of government policy is the title of the podcast, and we have 7 episodes there where we show here are the real human costs. Here's the human impact of government policy.
Yeah.
And because I want to effectively do that for libertarians and say, listen, this is what it's like to be a woman who is abused and then have the system railroad or stacked against her 10 years later still.
Yeah.
This is what it's like to go to prison for 16 OxyContin and then die, and 100 people will watch it and not say a word because their personal incentive says, I'm not going to help.
Yeah, treat your corpse like a hot potato.
Exactly. So I think, you do. We have to tell stories. We have to tell stories of the real human cost of government, and we have to do it in a way that is respectful and artful. And not gross, and I think we've kind of done a good job of that.
That's where you excel at, because
yeah.
that's why I don't get into the emotional as much, because I just want revenge and blood. And so you do a great job of keeping it tasteful and really hitting home without it ever being over the line. And I can't, because I get so worked up about it. It's like, you're going to camp. I'm done. And I get too fired up about it.
I always tell people when I talk about welfare, I always tell people that. Is there anything more cruel in society than paying someone just enough to live?
Oh, no.
Is there anything more cruel?
No.
That you're not hungry enough to actually get motivated to go out and go do something, and that doesn't mean you're lazy. I'm talking about motivation. But you're just going to pay them just enough. Mm-hmm. Not enough to succeed, not enough to follow their dreams, not enough to give them opportunities. You're just going to pay them just enough so that they don't complain and they keep voting you back in. Is there anything more cruel than that?
It's a pathology.
And that's the thing, is that's where I say I can't understand why politicians don't say that story over and over and over again.
So let's touch on how to find these stories, because in my experience, it's just talking to people. It's going out and being a member of your community and getting to know people in your community and making it clear what you're doing, that you're there. I'm a concerned member of the community. I want to help people. I'm also going to run for school board because I want to help people. What's your story? But I've come across the people that have been on the Cost podcast because I've just been around. I've been out there vocally saying things like, I'm concerned about this. I get in touch with them, or their personal friends who are willing to tell their story. Because I think any of us who are travelers in this life and have a network of more than 3 people, not just beyond our family, we all have these people where you have these anecdotal stories, and I think sometimes we're afraid to tell the anecdotal stories.
Yeah.
And there's a problem. Libertarians especially look at it and go, well, just one anecdotal story isn't the totality of the pyramid of statistics, and I have an analog.
The exception doesn't disprove the rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Then
Say that to a dying kid.
Right. We have to get past that, and we have to realize that there is a large percentage of people that if you have a situation like Amanda, where there somebody who episode 144 of this show, if you go back in the feed and listen to it, you will be a libertarian by the end of it. I promise you, because you hear how many layers of government failed her in that situation. And so I take that story and then I start asking around, hey, have you had this experience? Hey, have you had this experience? And I use my network to kind of verify this is not just a one-off scenario. This is an epidemic. This is a systemic problem. And then I feel comfortable bringing that to our audience. And I think, Ed, if you want to...
And you always vet it.
I'll always. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I criticize one thing about what you said?
Absolutely.
And that's... Stop saying you will be a libertarian. Because here's the other part is the general notion from non-libertarians about libertarians is not a positive one.
Sure.
You're the wacky...
They love our ideas. They hate our party.
Exactly. But you're the wacky, tinfoil hat guys and everything else.
Tinfoilitarian.
And so the thing is, the thing that I would go to is just go with the argument that here's the story. Here's what I want to do for you. Is that something that you believe in? And 99%, it's like all these, I love like all the joke interviews on YouTube, where they where they go into a really liberal school and they ask them all these questions about freedom and everything else. And you wind up, it doesn't matter whether someone's uber conservative or uber liberal, they believe in libertarianism. Most people 99% of the time believe in the libertarian thought process.
Right.
But if they would have started and said, hey, this is Doug and I'm from the Libertarian Party and I got a few questions to ask you, boom, you're done. Like you shut it
Categorized.
off. Yeah. And so the thing, for Ed is that's the other piece is what was the white Republican that ran in the black neighborhood?
I'm triggered.
And won because
John Elrod?
No, he never. His last name was like Williams, and he never put his picture on anything.
Ed Williams.
And I can't remember.
In Michigan?
Was that it?
It was Ed Williams that did that in Michigan and Detroit.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But it goes to show
he didn't run a campaign. That's where my idea for Gary Johnson was, to not run a campaign.
But it goes to show you the preconceived notions, right?
Yeah.
Preconceived notions were the guy has a last name like mine, and I've not seen him. I'm assuming that he's black, so
change.
I'm going to vote for him. And so the thing is everybody thought it was, blasphemous what he did. But what he did was absolutely brilliant, because what he did was he said, here's my side of the argument. And if you want to believe that I'm a black guy, believe that I'm a black guy.
It's on
but
you.
Show up and vote.
Another key piece to what Trump has done is, I just want the W.
Yeah.
Let's stop pretending that there's honor in politics, and let's stop pretending. Forget all this fake public service bullshit. We're all here to win. We're all here for ourselves, And I'm going to be more for. I'm out to win, but I'm out to win for you. And I'm your advocate. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job of we instead of that. But back to Ed, that's the other piece is I just wouldn't introduce myself as, hey, I'm a libertarian candidate running for, and it's not that it's no shame in being a libertarian candidate. It's that you have to remember that people have cognitive bias and preconceived notions about what a libertarian is. And as soon as you open that up, it's like a Jehovah's Witness. So, if a Jehovah's Witness came up to you and said, hey, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, and I'd like to talk to you about getting saved.
Would you like to buy some liberty?
Yeah, you'd close the door, right? But if someone came up and say, hey, I'd just like to talk to you about our church and everything else, a lot of times people will open up and talk to them, Yeah. So that's the other piece of it.
Yeah, you want to catch people when they're mad. So, like, if I were you, I helped with Andy Corning's campaign. And so on Andy's campaign, we had really good success creating outrage by his Republican opponent had office space for his campaign that was actually in a building up for sale. So we went and recorded on like a camera phone of knocking on the door, and the thing was listed and it was vacant. Then we took his campaign ads and we wadded them up and sprinkled them throughout a public park and had Andy going around picking up his pictures like he was a litterer. And so like you can do it through social media outrage. And then also he struggled to pick a fight. His personal integrity, he didn't want to be thought of in his community as somebody who was incendiary or an orange-faced buffoon like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump doesn't care what you think of him. He's a billionaire. He rebuilt Manhattan. It speaks for itself. So you kind of have to make that choice. But what I tried to get Andy to do at public events was pose almost as a survey researcher. So when someone's leaving a town council meeting, go up with a clipboard.
Yeah.
If you saw someone that really got heated, catch that person and do a podcast with them. Put that out. Capture the story until you build a narrative around it. But don't go in under the auspices of I'm going to run. I'm here as a concerned citizen. I need to get informed myself. What's bugging you?
Yeah.
Right.
Just collect information.
That's an interesting idea about the podcast. There are a lot of tech people who start tech podcasts just so they can get introduced to clients.
We do it.
Thought leadership.
We absolutely do it. We pick people that we want to do business with, and we, strap right into their ego, right? Who doesn't? People do it to me too. Hey, can you be on my podcast?
Yeah.
I want to hear my voice.
Network, really.
Yeah.
It
doesn't hurt anybody, right?
No.
But it adds authority.
Well, we'll see. See how this podcast goes.
Well, I'm never running for office, but this will surely end.
Oh yeah, I don't know why anybody would ever associate with us or be friends with us even.
Rob really, legitimately, when he runs for Brownsburg mayor, wants us to run it.
Really?
Because he believes like this is a guy that was on town council. He's what cut the taxes the most in Hendricks County history, youngest elected Republican at the time, and he basically his campaign was going around and going nana nana boo boo to his opponents and telling them that person wants to raise your taxes. Here's why they don't need to do it, and he's a liar.
Yeah,
and just a flame war.
Well, I tell you, that's why Mitt Romney lost, right?
He's afraid
he wouldn't get in the dirt.
No,
did you see that Netflix?
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was awesome because
that was the guy that I knew he was.
It showed that he just was not willing to get in the mud, and then, of course, he jumped in the mud when Trump went in, which really
he didn't leverage his binders full of women.
Yeah, that was the problem.
I didn't feel like he got in the mud. I feel like he spoke up for principle. I felt like he was saying
he got down and dirty.
He
on
spoke
Trump
up for status, never Trump.
Right?
Yeah.
Status quo forever. We're elite. We know you little people.
Yeah. I agree.
I didn't feel that I felt he was taking a moral stance against Donald Trump, not a political stance.
Yeah.
There's no morality though in politics. That's what I kept getting.
I think Mitt Romney thinks there is.
Oh yeah, that's always been the belief till now.
So I worked in it for 10 years, and I can tell you there is no morality in politics. The only thing that matters is the dark arts and winning.
You watched Mike Pence take your vocational training message from Rupert, which that's why Rupert was so successful, because you focused it on the emotion.
Yep.
And then Mike Pence just steals it and puts it in his platform right away.
Put it in his platform and enacted laws, which fine. Okay, we got our idea enacted. But
dang it, we should have got the credit for that.
Well, they took our idea, they tested it, they ran TV commercials on it, they enacted it. Okay, that's the reality as a Libertarian Party candidate. You're partly running to have your idea stolen and to influence your opponents.
You're almost like an intellectual anchor, kind of.
Absolutely, you're there to shame the other two parties back to their true positions.
But they don't want to. Like most candidates, just are deathly afraid of saying you're a liar.
Right, absolutely. And Libertarians, that's why Lucy Brenton here in Indiana was so good. If you go back and watch Lucy's debate against Todd Young, she was extremely effective in candidate messaging. She had a hook that people could grab onto, that people would walk up the next day and go, I liked that mom, because she mentioned that she was a mom.
And that was the voting influence decision.
Right.
That woman was sharp.
She was sharp.
A great line. I can't remember it, but I liked it.
She attacked them without being gross. And it was a masterful debate performance by a Libertarian. Go look up on the Indiana Debate Commission's website, the Indiana senatorial debate in 2016. So, Ed, are you the type of person that can go out there and call your opponents a whore and they steal money. And
you don't do that. You have to, like, if I'm running for school board, I have to say, why aren't our kids performing better?
Yeah.
Right.
Why aren't there more resources? Where are these resources going? And you create a villain. You say the teachers union is the reason that Johnny doesn't have books. The reason I have to pay a $400 bill is because they're guilty and they retire at 55 and don't think they have to work.
and if they're not going to follow through, I'm going to grab the superintendent by the pussy.
Wow. But they want you to.
Can you say
when
that,
you're
Ed?
a big star?
Wow.
Right. They beg for it, Ed.
No, but you don't say that. But like, you got to give them a victim or a scapegoat. I mean, you fell in love with Trump, and I love it because I don't meet many people that are willing to admit they love Trump.
Dude,
we both wrote a manifesto after he got voted in to all of our friends, telling them, kiss our ass. We think this is the best thing.
There is nothing I can't do in this world now. It is official.
It's inspirational.
It's inspirational, right?
Well, like a Libertarian Party had been telling itself a lot of lies, like you need a lot of money. Can't change a party from the inside. You know, you can't run just a media campaign.
Yeah.
You got to have a network. Trump said, hell, that I don't need advisors, whatever.
Yeah.
Just the only time he needed networks and influence was to secure delegates. And so as a transactional type of guy, he brought those people in for that specific task.
But he's still a great example of a guy that won the presidency without either party's support.
Yeah.
He had nobody's support except the people's.
No.
And that's a great message to people that look, you can, I always tell people this, look, the fact that I love that Trump won doesn't mean I think he's not a despicable human being.
Right.
The two are very different things. I would have loved someone that really cared about the country and wasn't so egotistical and was a statesman or woman to get in there and do a great job. I would have loved that, but we didn't have that. Yeah. And so when you talk about the choices, that's where I cheered it on. And I cheered it on just because I'm sitting there going, okay, here's a guy that didn't use the money, didn't have access to the donors, was actually campaigned against by his own party.
Broke every rule.
And then every time he did anything wrong, the entire party turned their back on him every time.
Trump won't win.
Yeah.
Trump won't secure enough delegates.
Yeah.
Trump won't build the wall.
And all the way. In fact, I'll tell you, even the night of the election, I never thought he would win.
It wasn't until like 9:20 when we all went.
I tried to tell everybody it was 7:45 that it's going to be an early night.
My son messaged me and he goes, holy shit, he's winning.
Yeah.
And I literally, that's when I started watching the news. I was like, what? And I started laughing uncontrollably.
It was one of the greatest nights, and the day after was one of the greatest days ever, and I hate the son of a bitch.
Yes.
There's something
it's
about
the only disagreement we've ever had in 5 years.
Yeah.
But it was an entire year long because he was like, you're insane.
There's no way.
And I was like, this is the greatest television I've ever seen. He said that geese were Mexican UFOs.
Listen, it's not that I don't appreciate him as art and TV and comedy. It's just I thought he would be a completely incompetent president. Yeah. And so far, other than Gorsuch.
Yeah.
But I woke up the next morning with a superpower.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? But look, this whole thing should give hope to independents, libertarians, right? That it's not about the party, it's about the candidate. It's about saying the right things, leveraging the right things, and getting the right message out.
All the help.
Well, here's what I would say. The help is what he had that nobody else had was the brand awareness, right? And so the thing is
16 opponents. The context really helped him. By having so many opponents, no one could get a majority really compete.
Well, and then he picked one terribly, terrible thing to say about each. Like, I loved waiting for his nickname for the next guy to fall.
America couldn't wait.
Yeah,
what is he going to say about Crooked Hillary?
Exactly. And it didn't matter that it was a second grade, insult. They liked it. But the other thing I think here is, to add is look, you might not win the first election or the second election or the third election, but what he had over time was this brand awareness that everybody knew his name, so they just knew. And that's the other piece of this that I think that we miss that you'll need is you can't give up after election one and say, man, I didn't get any votes. Nobody voted for me. That always happens. It's the second, third, fourth, that you got to keep going after it, that you got to keep winning over people, that you got to keep. And the great thing is you've got more and more stories of failure with each election. Look,
Right.
I tried to tell you last election.
You're almost
you know,
A/B testing.
yeah,
You become the symbol for change in a certain area. And there's a book by Angela Duckworth called Grit. And if people don't understand or know the concept of grit, then they should definitely check that book out. Because grit is probably the most important quality in success. And in this term, in instance, it's like the 10 hour, 1,000 hours thing, okay, that we all hear about. It's like you got to do a certain skill 10,000 hours before you can be successful. Malcolm Gladwell coined it.
it's horseshit.
I know, but there is truth to the fact that the reason that Doug is very good at marketing is because Doug has applied himself to a craft.
But let me tell you a story about that and why I say it's bullshit.
All right.
I had the marketing tech blog. I had it out for like 3 years or whatever, beginning of the blog world, right?
Right.
So not a lot of people doing it and everything. And me and my friends would put each other on memes. You know, we'd say, hey, who's the best 10 social media bloggers, and we'd all have a list with each other's.
Right.
Yeah.
Your spam farms.
And then one day I put out there, I said, we were named the #1 marketing technology blog in the industry. Thank you, everybody. And I wrote an entire post about this. Oh my God, I can't believe my peers recognized me so much and everything. And the entire thing was bullshit. You're
telling me that you're the greatest, the best,
yeah,
biggest wall,
the whole
greatest
thing
work?
the whole thing was an absolute lie, right? Now, my blog traffic tripled, and then the next day I wrote a post and said it was all bullshit. I was totally lying about all of it. No. Guess how much drop off I had?
None.
0.
None.
Right.
They love it.
Nobody said you're a shithead. You lied to us. Nobody said anything. And so I always tell people, like, don't be afraid to plant your flag in the ground. Don't be afraid to say, no, you don't understand. I am the only candidate doing this, because that puts everybody else at a place of defense. Like we a long time ago, we went after it with the city of Indianapolis. Indianapolis is really struggling from inside the bubble. Tech is doing great. We're growing by 9,600 jobs a year, everything else.
A bunch of biz dev guys in khaki pants.
But comparatively to the nation, we are terrible. Like, the amount of money here is a fraction of Boston or Austin or whatever. And so what I told them was, look, go out there and say we're the capital. Say it. Go do it.
And pick a slight niche,
and they went the political side and kind of half-assed did. We're a leading city. And I was like, you assholes. Like, make Boston argue and say, what the hell are you talking about? No, we're #1. Because what happens? The debate brings you up.
Everyone wants
you put someone on the defensive and they have, it's the Rubio-Trump pairing, right?
Little Marco.
Yeah. Put him on his heels and he can't ever come back from that. And so the other piece of this is, don't be afraid. Harrison,
I'm the #1 marketing professional in the entire universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we have people all the time that say,
I heard you were only awesome.
Well,
but I'm on the #1 podcast.
But you have heard of me
in America.
Yeah.
Right.
You are. This is the greatest podcast.
Well, I'll give you an example. People in our industry that are so full of shit say, don't call yourself an expert. And I'm like, wait. I have a company there that has a budget, that has a problem that I can fix, and they're looking for an expert. Guess what I am?
Yeah.
I'm an expert.
I'm the greatest expert you've ever seen.
Exactly.
For your specific
problem. Now, am I
media.
lying to get that contract? No, I'm saying I can fix their problem. And so there's this notion out there of humility that is idiotic.
Yeah.
It's absolute. When you think about our leaders that are in charge, and
I'm pretty humble. Come on.
You probably just coined Seth Godin's new book.
You're the humblest guy
I'm
that
very
you know.
No,
I am probably the most humble guy of all time.
People tell you this.
I'm so humble.
Yes.
They say it for you.
I mean, I'm awesomely humble.
Harrison is extremely humble.
It's this stupid undercurrent of like Deepak Chopra bullshit that is infecting the business
like
world. And he may be a very nice person, but everybody should get along because we're competitors. It's like the late night. It's like the late night TV show hosts now. They're all like, "Oh no, we get along great. We're all good friends." Like bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Howard Stern said on his show the other day, if somebody can take your job, they're not your friend.
Yeah.
And you know, I would love. That's why I loved Letterman. Letterman was like, Jay Leno's a fuck. Yeah. He's a lying, weaselly little fuck. Whereas Jay Leno's like, yeah,
but he's trolling him because he knows that he can't. It's
pretty good,
right?
Oh, he does.
That was good. That was good.
I'm the best of all time.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah,
so good.
But Trump's a great example of continuously saying it over and over without anybody believing it.
Right.
But what that did was put everybody else on their heels, that they couldn't say that, no, I'm the best.
Right.
Like, no, I'm the best is you lost. You lost the argument.
He had no competitive advantage and just simply went out and declared himself best.
Exactly.
And Jeb Bush is like, God.
You know what second place is? The first loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Ricky Bobby.
But, I mean, that's the other thing that I would say in that is you have to declare yourself somehow as the leader amongst your peers. I don't give a shit how much money they have, how many years they have, how many everything. You have to say, no, when you say, nobody is more qualified than I am to take this position.
No one is going to make sure your kid doesn't.
What is that subjective analysis and bullshit that you came up with to do that?
I and I alone can fix it.
But when you say that, people go, well, maybe we should give them a shot at fixing it, you know?
Yeah, like, so the other thing is you have to just devote yourself to a craft and make up your mind that you're going to do this and do it for as long as it takes to be successful. It doesn't matter, well, he's run for the 8th time. Who gives a shit? Maybe you're one step closer. You never know when you're going to accidentally, you know, and so...
Okay. Like, they find a hooker in his trunk and you're number 2.
Right. Like, I decided years ago...
They'll never kill you.
I decided years ago that I was going to get into podcasting.
Ouch.
I'm going to create great podcasts. I'm going to learn everything I can about podcasts. It's going to be my passion, my hobby. Somehow it ended up being my day job, you know, which was because I had decided that I'm going to get really good at this thing. It's going to cost me money to figure out how to do this thing. And then when the time came and I was able to take the job that I have now, I was prepared. Because I had devoted myself to this craft. That was your college. It was. I had worked in radio, and I worked at the Libertarian Party, and then I just decided 5-6 years ago I was going to do podcasting. And now I'm looking to the future where I'm going to be the most sought after podcast professional in the entire nation.
The greatest podcast expert in the history of the world, really.
And I'm not bullshitting you. There is nobody who has my resume at the things that I have. Now, there are people who understand audio engineering better than I do. There are people who understand, you know, they have bigger audiences than I do. And it's easy to look at that and go, well, I'm a fraud. People are going to figure out any day now that I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's not true. I know how to build a good podcast. I know how to build a platform. I know how to create good content. I know how to make people entertained through audio. And you have to let go of those insecurities and just say, there are going to be more qualified people. There are going to be people who have bigger this. There are going to be people who have larger hands. You have to just say, I am the best. I deserve to be here, and I'm going to keep going until I achieve my goal.
The stories in our head are what defeat us constantly.
Oh,
absolutely.
That imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got that. You know, you're like, oh God, if they only knew.
Let me ask you a left turn on this great conversation.
Sure.
Because I love this conversation. Here's the left turn: is I think President Obama did an amazing job of it, and I think Trump did an amazing. Maybe, well, the jury's still out to see what he did, but I feel President Obama did a great job of lying the entire election, both elections, to get in office and do what he wanted to do anyways. And this is one of the things that I see libertarians incapable of doing. They're incapable of lying to get into office.
Oh yeah, they won't look bad and win.
And
they won't.
And
no, I don't think it's look bad. I think it's not
party of principle is killer.
You have a culture of people who left the other two parties, and they're virtue signaling that they are more competent. And I absolutely hate that there's any libertarian group, party, website, anything that is telling people that the Libertarian Party is immune from all of the typical political behaviors of the other two parties.
Right.
That there
will be just like the other parties.
That there isn't networking, that there isn't strategizing, that there isn't,
shaming,
backroom bullshit, that there isn't competition.
Right.
We went through something a year ago where we were trying to help our candidate win because he was the best candidate.
Yeah.
And we never lied. We just told the truth.
Right.
They lied.
They lied, and
then they found out that was stupid.
Yeah, and so Greg made a meme of this guy who was running for governor who had 2 domestic violence arrests, and he never properly explained it away. And Greg, we were getting irritated. We were just
Todd just pushed me at Hendricks County GOP Lincoln Day dinner for memes of him pulling off a mask of Todd Young's head and Mitch McConnell underneath.
Right.
Or Bob Grant holding
physically
him like
assaulted by a United States Senator Strickland.
Love his campaign manager. That was a great guy.
But yeah, so like what I'm saying is like we told the truth, and we told it in a way that was, hey, here's what this guy did. Here's who he is. Here's the mugshot. And the Libertarian Party of Indiana was horrified. I'm still to this day persona non grata with several people because it was so ugly. You can't get on a committee.
That I designed the damn product.
Right.
But
and it's because we told the truth, and we did exactly what the other two parties.
But here, I'll throw out like the analogy, right? Is there's a lady standing on the roof, and she's going to jump off the roof. She's going to kill herself, right? And she just doesn't want you to, don't touch me. Don't touch me or I'm going to jump. Don't touch. Yeah, she's hot.
She's hot.
Sure, she's hot.
Then you go.
Don't touch me, or I'm going to jump. Right? What do you say? You say, I'm not going to touch you. I'm just going to sit over here. I'm just going to look. I'm just going to get a little bit closer. And you sit there and you lie to her and you lie to her and you lie to her.
Is she a lesbian?
Maybe, but you lie to her, and then before she can jump, you grab her and save her life.
Grab her by the
whatever. But here's the deal. You lied to get into a position to save her.
Noble lie.
What? And that's when I look at the United States. That's what I look at. I look at we are a country sitting on the cliff about to commit suicide if we keep going the direction that we're going financially and everything else. And I say, I want someone to lie and get in there and pull us off the cliff. And I'm tired of these guys with the noblest of
Plato talks about that in the Republic, like the noble lie. It doesn't matter if it's true,
right?
It creates virtue in society.
Go lie, get in there and fix it.
Yeah,
and when you fix it, everybody's cheering you because you saved the lady. And I feel like
she thanks you in 5 years.
Absolutely, and I think that of the parties that we have, Republicans are willing to do that, Democrats are willing to do that. But for some stupid ass reason, Libertarians are never willing to do that.
Party of principle is the moniker.
That's ridiculous.
Well, there isn't room for principle in politics.
No, the principle is saving the country.
It's blood sport.
It's the saving
for
the
most
country.
Important thing.
That's what you want to do. You want to save the country. I would totally, if I thought I could run for school office and really make a change, I would lie to everybody and tell them absolutely.
But doesn't that go against everything that libertarians are about?
No, because they don't understand there's a difference between politics and policy.
But no. What kind of lie would you tell?
Whatever it takes to win.
But give me an example of this lie that you're concocting.
Chris Spangle's dead. Killed JFK.
Don't you help? I want to hear what Doug's lying about.
I would say, like on a level with the United States, I would say absolutely. I am not going to cut defense funding. I am not going to cut the military. I absolutely want to keep that there. Medicare, Medicaid, I'm not going to touch them. Social Security, I'm not. No, I'm going to fix those things. I'm going to fix those things. And I would go across the spectrum and everything else. Once I got into office, guess what? I'm slicing and dicing like a mother.
Right.
And then I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why, hey, Medicare was heading down the path that it couldn't come back from, and here's what those cuts did. And yes, there's some victims of that, but for the greater good of the country, blah, 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 blah. Once you're in office, you can do the work.
Hey, the facts changed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to close Guantanamo on day one. 8 years. It's just got more appropriations for the budget.
Right.
But that's the nature of the business. Politics is different than policy and governing. Like governance requires, it's transactional. Tit for tat. What dirt do I have on you, or how can we help each other? Whereas politics is blood sport. You do whatever it takes to win. And it's justified because if you believe you're the right candidate, you have no other option than to go as dirty as you need to or as noble as you need to.
But wait, let me spin that a little bit, because you say lying.
Uh-oh.
But, okay, so I truly think that, you can say something and believe it to be true, even though it might not be.
Damn right.
So Donald Trump, I truly believe in his mind, when he said he's going to build a wall, Mexico's going to pay for it, in his mind, in his world, that was not a lie. Right?
He believes so sincerely everything he says, which is insane to us.
When has anybody ever told him no in the first place?
When has he not disproved the odds?
Right. So I
Really?
think you can do it without technically lying. See where I'm going?
You can't.
Because you can truly
You can
believe
be
you're going to make a
delusional.
difference,
You
even
guys
though
are-
you're delusional. Yes.
This podcast is delusional. You people, we're not going to have any listeners. We finally got to 7,000 an episode, and you ruined it. Thanks, Doug.
No, but they need to hear this because
I told you that I was going to come here and insult the shit.
I wrote an article. You guys know that book, Crossing the Chasm, by Clyde Christensen, and like how you grow by picking a specific niche and then like bowling pin strategy.
Right.
So that's what I wrote about for the Libertarian Party. You know, we have to have a win on a specific policy initiative that we can get credit for, that gets us into the fray, and then we can knock down the rest of the
That's
pins.
exactly it.
It is.
But
And
you
they don't
gotta
see,
get
and
in.
I got crucified, and I get crucified all the time. Like I can't literally get on a committee to create a membership program.
Right. Well, that's
Yeah,
and that's
literally,
okay because they can't
no.
get their asses in office.
Well, then I
You know?
say that, and then our national chairman goes out and posts a meme because I attacked the party.
Greg rustled Nick Sarwark this week.
Yeah, he's one of the globalists. No, but that's the thing is they just aren't. They don't have a will to win. And I talked about it with the former chairman of the Libertarian Marion County Party, and he's like, at the end of the day, I'm so disappointed because we just got to go win a race.
We do.
Just win a race, and it's worth it because even if you have to lie, you know that you're the right guy to be in there to trust.
Well, and that's the
Like
thing
you
is,
said.
again, I go back to the nobility of it, right? Let's put it back into a business, atmosphere. From when we engage with a prospect, we literally look at that prospect and we're qualifying them. Do they have money? Do they have time? Do they have resources? But we look at their problem and we say, can we fix that problem? Can we? And we don't want to look bad. So if there's an opportunity to fix that problem, we're talking them into the sale, right? We're going to talk them into the sale. Now they might say stuff like, well, is this going to take care of this? Is this? Yeah, we can absolutely talk about that and everything else. Absolutely shouldn't be a problem, And then once we get in there, our objective is to dazzle them, to move the needle, everything else, and everything else falls by the wayside. Everything, as long as their business is growing and their business is going good. The hard part is, everybody has these misconceptions on each side of the table of what's going to happen. Even when we close a deal, how many times do we close a deal? And then once we start working on it,
Thousands of deals every day.
yeah, but
greatest deals.
the person
greatest
says,
deals.
the person says on the, I thought when we were talking about this, we were going to do A, B, and C. And we're sitting there going, okay, here's the contract. A, B, and C is not in there. I'm not sure how you got that.
Like you're already invested at that point.
These things happen all the time in business, and it's the thing. It happens in politics all the time as well. And so our thing the noble part on us is we would be lying bastard, terrible business people if we knew we couldn't help them and we took the money. That's when we're wrong, and that's it in even in politics. If you're running for office and you sit there and lie and say I'm gonna fix that for you, Chris, I'm gonna fix that for you,
We're
Greg.
Fix healthcare, we're gonna protect the poor.
Exactly.
We're gonna get choice.
But then, and knowing that you're not going to do any of those things, well, yeah, then you're a dick, But the thing that I see, like with like I said, at my core, I'm a libertarian. What I see with libertarians is I just want them to get in office, because once they got in office, I think sensible legislation could get through on both sides of the wall. I think it could be compromised. I think it could.
It'd break gridlock.
But the bastards won't do what it takes to get in, and so they're always standing on the outside bitching.
Perfect example of what you were talking about is Steve Jobs when he started Next. He didn't have an operating system, hired Avi Debanian.
Yeah.
The computer he spent, $600,000 on a perfect cube, knew it was all a sham, so that Apple would have to buy the operating system he was building him, and he made it. to the behemoth it is.
Well, he did it with the first Macintosh. The first Macintosh.
They ran that demo.
Yeah, they ran the demo with a higher end.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't going to work, or 1 out of 5. But
exactly.
And it wasn't unethical because it will.
Yeah, exactly.
When it shipped, it would work that way.
All right, so Ed, in summation, call people cunts, lie to the voters.
I never said the C word.
No. It's extreme leadership, right? It's
that's it.
Because here's the thing. I think the Libertarians are going to have a dynamic leader that really takes full charge, right? Because the Republicans were breaking down, and what happened, right? Donald Trump came in, extreme leadership, and gave the people exactly what they wanted, right? Gary Johnson, I mean, I kind of felt, right? It was kind of like, this is a guy you want to sit around and you're kind of smoking a doobie and it's kind of mellow, and it wasn't that extreme leadership that's needed, right? And I think right now that's the breakdown.
Yeah,
America's desperate for leadership.
Yeah,
desperate for leadership.
And Donald Trump,
people want
was the only one that looked like a leader.
Here's the people want to be ruled.
They do.
They really do.
They really do.
Serfdom is never really gone away.
Freedom is a 200-year-old concept. I mean, it's not that old. It's really
when there's no global standard for currency, and all of a sudden anything, you're going to watch people be like, all right, give me authoritarianism.
And like, as soon as you walk away from the herd, you are not liked.
Oh,
100%.
You are not liked. And so
welcome to the We Are Libertarians.
Yeah, if you're gonna step outside the herd, don't expect to be liked. It's not going to ever happen. It's that you have to step outside the herd, look back at the herd, and say, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to fix this.
So us against the world. Like, Jobs did that with Apple too. Like, he created religion and commerce and fused them somehow.
Yeah.
And it was us versus, Big Brother.
Yeah, Steve Jobs was not doing testing with an audience, right? It was like, this is what you want. This is amazing. You're going to buy this.
In the future of humanity, he thought it depended upon the Mac being the standard. Like, that's the thing you have to create is when you talk to the people that you're going to be advocates for, we have to do this. We have to do this now. You have to create a sense of crisis because this is what it will look like if not. And I will not allow it. I will not stand for it. And if you support me, I will make sure that the person that's doing it is gone.
I'll tell you the other one. You were talking about commanding a presence, and I think that's an important role of this as well. Is that, you can go online on YouTube, and it's really hokey the things that you can do from a speaking standpoint that disguise any nervousness or any doubt that you have internally and everything else. There's a lady here in town, Accent on Business, and she trained Tony Dungy how to speak and everything else. And I went up to her once. I was speaking at one of her events, and she called me Ellen Dunnigan, amazing lady. And she said, before you speak at my event, I have to see you speak. And I was like, oh, okay. So I drive up to her office, and I walk into her office, and she's got like a empty hall. And she's sitting she's sitting at a desk in an empty hall. She goes, go up there. I got the videotape running. Speak. And I'm like shitting my pants.
Freshman communications class at IUPUI.
Yeah, here's this lady that international leaders are hiring her to help their public speaking and everything. So I went up there and I spoke, and she came back. She said, okay, before the event, here, do A, B, C, D, E. And it was wacky stuff like breathing exercises. Like if you're nervous before you speak, you tend not to breathe. And then when you start speaking, you're out of breath. And so
you go up and pitch.
Yeah. And so everybody hears you going, so I'm here today because, and so you're out of breath. So she would have me do, the diaphragmatic breathing exercises. So I would literally be standing off stage going, and
it's like Lamaze class.
Yeah. Paramedics. Yeah. And I'm pumping.
He's having a heart attack.
I'm pumping.
That's our keynote.
Because when I get out there, I'm not going to breathe. So I'm pumping oxygen into my system before I go out there. Nervous people don't move their heads.
Don't move at all.
Yeah, they don't move at all. And so she had these exercises where you turn your wrist outward and bend your, like if you guys do it, you all look like assholes, but do it right now. So bend your wrist and then twist your head. Do you feel that pull?
Yeah.
And so that's the tendon that tightens up when you're nervous.
Yeah.
And so
Isn't that the name?
That's a great tip.
it is.
It's
Dude.
like the nape of the neck. It's
Watch
like,
me
At
whip.
the town council mayor at the school
Watch
board
me
meeting,
nay-nay.
you need to watch me whip. Watch me nay-nay.
whip.
So
Whip.
essentially
You just
what-
won.
Watch me nay-nay.
So what we're doing is we're putting our arm behind our hand like we're stretching,
Kind of to the side.
and then you're kind of like you're pouring a beer
Yeah.
upside down, and then you're tilting your head to the other side. So
Yeah.
if you put your
Tilt your head
left
opposite.
out, put right out.
Bittner on the bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you will have a tightening on your traps.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that is. And you know, when you get nervous and you get tense and somebody rubs the back of your neck,
Exactly.
those muscles, it feels so good. That's
Exactly. And
what
so
you're talking about.
she would have me do those before. And then the last thing she had me do, she talked about, like, professional sports players do this all the time.
Masturbate.
No.
The 10,000 an hour principle.
Surprisingly, I probably wouldn't get asked to a lot of conferences.
talk you gotta
Hold on, I'll be
Got an
up.
explosive finish.
Give me 4 more seconds. I'll be up there. No, and the last thing was vision, right? So if you watch professional ball players, you always see, they're like sitting there and they got these massive headphones on before the game and everything. What they're doing is they're either listening to some kind of speech that they listen to religiously every single time before they get out on field.
You can do it.
Yeah, or they're listening to some music that just pumps them up, or you can just sit and meditate and think about something. So here's the hokey thing that I do. I was reading a book, and I was reading a book about it was when you have a problem being tenacious, and everything else. And the guy described it, and he was talking about a lion, and the way lions kill animals is pretty freaking awesome, right? They have these hooked claws that basically when they hook, they literally hook when they grab on, and you can go watch videos online and see this. Well, they hook in and they start slowing, whatever the animal is down, and they eventually get around to the neck of the animal and they strangle it, and that's how they kill. So the first thing is hook, get your hooks in, and then the second thing is get around their trachea and eventually just squeeze their trachea until they suffocate to death. And it's this amazing, violent, disturbing death.
Wow.
God,
My wife's a lion.
So we do this to the audience members.
My wife is a lion.
Such a boner right now.
Yeah, so I'm
Rogan podcast.
so Ellen is telling me I need to do some kind of visualization, and I happen to go home and I'm reading this book. Well, guess what my visualization is? Every time before I go on a speech, I'm thinking about this lion just tearing into this thing and freaking sucking the life out of whatever it is. And I get on stage and I'm hyped up. I'm breathing, I'm hyped up, and now I'm ready to conquer the world. Other things I did do is like get out of the not worthy, like I'm not worthy, right? So another one is they asked me to be here. They told me that they wanted to be here. Maybe even they paid me to be here. These people are looking to me for answers. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
I can sell them anything.
They freaking want me up on this stage. That's why I'm here, And so now when I get in, it's really funny because I think that was probably 6 years ago. Now when I get on stage, people are like, "Man, you are not nervous at all." And I'm like, well, I was shitting my pants last night when I'm writing the PowerPoint at the last second, trying to get everything
it's always
going.
the night before that you're most nervous.
But no, that I am literally, if a guy jumped on stage and tried to fight me at that point, I would
just rip their throat out.
I would literally rip their throat
and then
out.
masturbate on them.
So the other thing is about public speaking that I've noticed, and it's like, all right, if you've ever done karaoke and you're standing up, you walk up on the stage and you feel that rush of adrenaline.
Yeah.
And
Performance.
that performance anxiety, man, I use that. I want to ride off of that adrenaline. I want to ride on that a little bit. And the thing is, you know you're prepared. As long as you know you're prepared, you will not fail. If you are not prepared, you're going to fail.
Yeah,
and
but you can't do that when you can do that the night before.
Right.
But that moment you're going, I am more fucking prepared than I have ever been in my life for this speech right now. Nobody is going to fuck with me today.
Yeah.
Bigly prepared.
Yeah,
exactly.
and the thing is again, it's not that you are the best. It's just that when you get into that spirit, you can't help but the audience look to you and go, damn, this guy is excited. This guy is in charge. Right. And so you wind up pulling people's, you wind up building off of their emotion and they wind up liking you and wanting you to win just because of that. And
the energy bounces back and
forth. People want to learn from you. And the other thing that it's about experience, it's about preparedness, and people will get the hang of it. And so when you feel that rush, you don't freak out as much. Yeah. And you just have to remember, one thing that significantly helped me in public speaking is thinking about our prehistoric brain a little bit. And so when we're going up on stage, we're afraid of being judged.
Yeah.
We're afraid of being cast out of the primitive circle. And as men, we're more women's deep-set fears are men hurting them. Men's deep-set fears are rejection and being an outcast. Because being an outcast to our ancestors meant you were literally cast out of the group.
Ice float.
Off onto you're dead. You're literally going to die because we're pack animals.
Right.
And so when none of the women will mate with you, then none of the women will mate with you.
Why are you looking at me?
And you were put on in the ice floe. That's why men take rejection.
I have 2 kids.
Right. The men take rejection.
I got laid twice.
So hard. But you have to remember that, listen, this is just a speech. If I were to fuck it up, I'm not going to be cast out of the group. I love myself. My friends love me. My family loves me. What do I got to do to get into the flow of this?
Yeah.
And then, so you have to keep in mind that that rush of adrenaline, that rush of emotion that you're experiencing is your animal brain, and you are a higher being that can control that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You absolutely can. And it's just getting into that rhythm to do it. You know?
One technical point on that is like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton are the best I've ever seen at speaking in 3s and 6s. Let me be clear. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And then they'd go into their next 2 phrases in 6s, and then they go back to a 3. And that goes into the rhythm. Like rhetoric, not so much public, they're the same thing, but rhetoric has like timbre and pace and tone and, crescendos. And so let it be music. Don't let it be reading a speech. Like, let yourself feel that rhythm.
There's weird things like, I bombed one speech one time and I was nervous as hell and there was lights and everything else. And what totally screwed me up was nobody sat in the first 10 rows.
Oh yeah. That's brutal.
So it's just this empty. And I told Ellen about it. I was like, I was literally pouring sweat looking out at the people and I felt so distant. I couldn't see their face. And she goes, why didn't you walk up to them and do the speech? And I go, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Take a walk. If you can, I always think
water.
That's the biggest thing.
Water is the best. If you have a bottle of water and all of a sudden you feel a little shake in your throat or you're a little bit nervous or whatever, go over, turn your back to the audience, take a sip of water, psych yourself up again, get your thoughts together, and then turn around. You know what you just did? You just showed the audience that you really am so much better than them, that you could literally turn your back
and you don't care if they're there or not.
Right. But it sends the signal.
It does. It interrupts that pattern.
It sends
the crying sends a difference.
Yeah, the crying sends a difference.
I did not have sex with that woman.
All right, so Ed, have you picked up some tips?
Yes.
What other things are you curious
about? Skip the masturbation, Ed. I'm just telling you right now. That's
lead
not
with
work.
Every time.
Stare them right in the eye and show them you're the alpha.
There you go.
I eat pork tenderloins in the pork tent at the state fair just to keep them down on the food.
Mr. Superintendent. Can I ask, Harrison, how do you build a story? Because I feel like storytelling is such an art and it's so unappreciated. When you hear a great story, it's just incredible. What do you do to help someone tell their story?
Well, I tell you one thing. I just shared it the other day with somebody that's trying to tell their story as a business. It was the 22 rules of Pixar. If you guys listening to this, Google it right now. Right? It truly walks you through 22 different steps that make an amazing story.
Because didn't he have some learning disability, the founder, or the CEO of Pixar? That's why his storyboards are so odd.
I think he had a broken fin. But... Sorry. I'm sorry.
But even if you look at movies, right? Movies all follow a script. How many movies have we all seen boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, right? But yet we watch 1,000 of those movies, and we'll keep watching them because it works.
We love to think we're a lot more intelligent than we are.
Right. Yeah.
We love to think that we're not manipulated
we are
easily.
primal. We like what we like.
We just mimic all the time, everybody.
You know, you create a really artsy film that all this creative time went into and money, and you think it's amazing, and like 3 people watch it.
Yeah. Cool.
Right.
I don't want to go to Keystone Arts tonight. I want to go out to the suburbs.
But, you know, you make Spider-Man 37...
Transformers.
Right. And you're probably going to make a killing at the box office.
Because people identify with those characters already.
How do you nurture the story and cultivate it at like those inflection points?
Well, I think you continue going, right? I mean, you're always building on the story. I don't think anybody we're going to sit down and write our story today.
Yeah.
I just don't think that happens, right? You create the base of that story, and then you just constantly evolve it.
Like, who is Ed? Why is Ed here?
Right?
Right.
Everybody has a story.
That was a question.
And
who are you?
But if you're going and talking to people over and over and over and over again, it gets a lot easier and easier and easier. And then we feed off of people's facial recognition. We feed off of, we can see when people are kind of turned off and everything. And so when you're telling that story over and over and over again, you get better and better and better at telling it, where you suck that person in. It's just... And it's not even like you have to understand the science of facial recognition or anything like that. It's literally... naturally,
it's innate.
You'll get better. It is innate.
You just want to, mirror each other a lot.
I mean, who has the dad, right? Everything gets embellished too, right? But I think my father walked to school uphill both ways, barefoot. Right?
Not as far as my dad's did.
But you can embellish a little bit, right, for dramatic effect. But that is over time watching how people react to what you're saying.
Right.
Are you bonding with them? Are they just like you? Are you speaking to the right person?
Yeah.
It was back to that superintendent at the school. She was trying to talk to business people, and I'm like, no, you have to talk to the parent. That's an entirely different tone and conversation. You're not going to speak to grandma the same way you speak to a CEO of a tech company.
They don't want to read Excel spreadsheets. You know, like they want to hear, what are you telling me?
Right. You can have more than one story, right? The story that you tell grandma or mom is going to be much different than the story you're going to tell Doug as a CEO of a company. It depends on, but if he's a dad, he wants to be spoke to as a dad, right? So you've got to assess the room and do.
Call me daddy.
Big daddy.
So Ed,
not that big, but it's okay.
Before we move on, I want to make sure that if you have any other questions that you get them asked.
No, I don't think I have any questions right now. I mean, this isn't really with running, but that's one of the things I'm trying to do. On the last podcast I mentioned, I'm basically semi-retired, and that's why I kind of was looking at running for school board. I was looking at trying to do something that, in essence, it sounds hokey, but gives back. Trying to help somebody, right? Or even. Hokey. Well, yeah, but
that's
even
the foundation of democracy here.
Even helping a business, I know a greenhouse, and they've got an older guy who works there, and he's just retired. They don't pay him; he just comes in, and it's because he enjoys helping them out, and they need the assistance.
Purpose,
right?
But let's walk through this a little bit. So let's do this. This always works, right? 30 seconds. Tell me what makes you awesome.
I've got 4 kids.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, 4 daughters.
I have 2. Oh, Jesus. 4 daughters. I have 1, and I almost threw myself off a freaking roof.
You're actually trying to pawn her off earlier when I came here.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Apparently never dated a redheaded daughter.
Yeah. I told you not to mention on the podcast.
It's talking about Spangle.
He's not going to
one.
But no. Let's go a little bit deeper, right? Because we all have family. We all love our communities, right? We all go the extra mile. What truly makes you awesome?
I think that I actually, same thing, it sounds hokey, but, I am at a point now where I am really, I've satisfied myself. I know I'm safe and secure, and so I'm trying to help other people.
Okay, so how did you get there? How did you get safe and secure?
Worked hard. Didn't spend a lot of money. That I've been frugal all my life.
So you're fiscally conservative.
Oh, yes.
Plan ahead.
Yeah.
Good planner, right?
Yep.
Nobody plans as good as you do.
Safe.
I don't know about
right?
that.
No. Remember, we're running for office.
right.
Here. Nobody plans as good as you do.
It's like about your legacy.
Yeah.
So
Not about your legacy, our legacy.
But see, you're still not telling me a story, though, right? So you say you work hard, but I want to. When you hear people like Hillary Clinton or whoever speak, right? The blue collar roots. My daddy was a coal miner or whatever, right? You've got to go deeper. You've got to give me more than just worked hard. Give me the fact that you worked in a factory 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, or you worked.
What horror story happened?
What big challenge were you faced with? That you overcame, and tell that story and show me how you worked hard. And
I interned on a Libertarian podcast.
Well, there's a couple gems here already, right? So one is like, don't excuse what you're about to say as hokey. That's your opinion.
Right.
That's not our opinion.
What makes your opinion less valuable?
There's a lot of people not giving back. There's a lot of people that don't give a shit about any of that.
Right? And so, like, I look at you, you're tall, unassuming, deep voice. You got a Carhartt shirt on, which I like. So I'm already liking what I'm seeing and hearing, right?
Man of the people.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you're running for school board, the perfect opportunity for you is, look, you're not going to see me dressed up in a suit. I'm not driving my Cadillac over here to talk to you guys. I'm not looking for a paycheck here. Here's the thing. I raised 4 kids. I put them through this system. I know the system has to change. I'm set. I'm good. My family's okay.
I'm not here for me.
Now I'm sitting here and I'm seeing these problems, and I know, one, the reason why I was successful was because I was fiscally conservative and I understood how to, squeeze a dime out of everything. Like you guys, I'm really upset with this system that it's almost like they don't care how they're spending my money, and they're doing it and putting my kids' future at risk. And they're putting your kids' future at risk. And I'm just tired of this. So look, if I could just live out my last few years helping to kind of turn this around and help this system, that's all I'm looking for. And I am really just looking for your vote to help me, right? And what I did there was I took the slick edge off. I took the, like, if someone else was there that had the, they were the lawyer or they were the politician or whatever, I pulled it out of them, right? Look, I'm standing here in a Carhartt shirt talking to you. I'm not standing here in a 3-piece suit.
Remember Scott Brown? Scott Brown, the Massachusetts senator.
And you played the whole card of my last few years. Look, I'm going to die soon. Vote for me.
Well, the other part of that is...
But you see what
I'm here to get people to my funeral.
What I did was, look, their argument was, look, Ed is just a plain dude. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I've been working politics my whole life. You guys know I'm a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican. We're going to get ours. Look, these teachers bust their ass and they need every dime, and I'm sick and tired of them not getting enough taxes and everything else. What I did was I sucked that whole argument out. I sucked it out, and I made it about the kids. I made it about me being unassuming. I made it about people thinking about the future. And the only people in the room that aren't going to vote for me now are those stupid-ass union people.
And maintain control, right?
Yeah.
Because lover or hater, if you watch Kellyanne or any of those type of people, right, you will not get them off point. Yeah. I don't care what you ask them.
Dogs.
Right.
They are staying on point, right? And you can't let the crowd come in. You've got your 3 basic points that you're running on, right? The crowd's always going to ask 937 different questions, right? But no matter what, you always turn back to those 3 main points because those are the points you're prepared for. That's what you're fighting for. That's what you're doing, and you can't let them win by trying to throw those curveballs.
I love the politicians that take the criticism too. He's right.
I screwed you on that one.
He's right. I'm not that kind of person. That's why I'm running.
The other part to mention in that pitch is you got to make sure you explain what you're going to do, help them do.
Yeah.
People only care about themselves.
Yeah.
People are very interested in what they're going to get out of you being their representative. People are only interested in what they're, I'm not going to get too bitter on this podcast, but
You've seen it in radio, in media, in politics. Your skull is gone.
Yes, I trust, and relationships and friendships and
masturbation.
Yeah. Well,
but at least now you know, right?
That has never left me.
I'm the best. I'm declaring.
But at least now you know, right? You know where you stand. You know where people sit, and you can use that now as a tool.
So Ed, thank you so much for being our intern and for asking and bringing this up and being our guinea pig on this discussion. I hope it helped you, and I hope it helped a lot of people that are listening.
Can I just give you one thing that always drives me crazy is politicians never ask for the sale.
Yeah.
They are so deathly afraid to say, "Do I have your vote?" Yeah. And you don't have to say that, but say, "I promise, if you vote for me and you put your trust in me, you'll never have to ask for it again."
Yeah.
Give them something secure. So, ask for the sale, because most people in life are afraid to ask for the sale. It feels odd, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ask for it. Say, "I want your vote. Are you going to vote for me? If you do, you're never going to have to worry about me like those people that are bought and paid for." And if you do that, that's how you can build steam, because then they'll tell people at a barbecue, or they'll tell people at a community, I talked to this guy and I don't want to go back on my word.
Yeah.
So Ed, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to touch briefly, because we don't have a ton of time left, but I want to touch briefly on the Trump effect outside of politics. You mentioned that Trump has made you a more confident man, a more confident businessman, a more confident lover.
Looking at Harrison when he's saying that.
Yes.
You don't have to have huge hands to please your woman, right?
Yeah. So
nothing wrong with those.
Have you seen
so many jokes?
When you're in marketing, you're talking to a ton of different business owners. You're talking to a bunch of different people in a bunch of different sectors about the problems and the successes in their businesses. Have you seen an effect on the population, especially I think in men, since Donald Trump has been elected? Has there been a mentality shift in the people that you've dealt with, or just the culture that you've noticed outside of just politics?
I can personally say I don't think so. I think there's been some things maybe amplified a little bit, right, from before. People might not be as afraid to
say not afraid
things
of shame anymore
as they were before, right? But honestly, things aren't really going to change that much, right? We are who we are. Social media has given us this platform where we can be complete assholes, or we can be professional, or we can be really whatever we want. Right? And I always say this, social media doesn't lie. Over time, I'm going to figure out who you are and what you're about. Yeah. You might fool me for a very short amount of time. You might put on your best face for 6 months or 3 months or even a year. But eventually, you're going to do or say something that truly tells me who you are as a person, right? What your ethics are, what your politics are, all that type of thing.
Water sort of finds its level after time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, do I think things have really changed with him? I really don't.
Some people are really good at hiding it.
But you still, if you're looking, you will find what they're about, right?
I don't know. I could name some names. And
we don't want to do that,
I know, but you won't find anything. And they
Oh yeah, we're gonna name some names at the end of this podcast.
By God, I like it.
I'm very mad.
I always tell people the whole transparency. Like people in our industry, I always talk about. We want you to be transparent. No, you don't.
Not at all.
Marketing is all about lying. Marketing is where you write a use case on the one client that got the best result.
That's a benchmark. That's the norm.
Not the 30 that left you because they were pissed
all of
off.
Our clients get the best result.
But you know what I mean? Like I always think it's
no one wants truth ever, but they want confirmation of what they already think.
That's exactly it. And the funny thing is in marketing, you can't talk about your fails.
God, no,
you can't.
It's like the Southern thing. You just dust them under the rug.
Admitted they bombed that one.
I don't want that guy. He's a loser.
And so it's funny. So I know people I got criticized during the election for talking smack online all the time, and it hurt me. Like, it definitely hurt me. And I watched these other people. I knew what they were thinking. I knew exactly what their politics was. Some of them even DM'd me.
Yeah.
And
I married a couple, and because I supported Trump, they're not friends with me anymore.
They hid the entire time, and they will never come out. Never. They'll never put it out there because they're good marketers.
Right, but it's one thing to again, if I go through your social account, I'm going to pretty much know where you sit.
You start picking up where they're
I
hiding.
might not know the level, right? If you're full-blown Ku Klux Klan type of guy, right, or whatever. But I'm going to know that you lean right, that you're fairly conservative, or that you're very liberal or whatever most of the time.
Facebook's been
you're
really
make a
good with
comment
big data,
somewhere,
just based
right?
on your like your pictures, just purely by analyzing like the cover or the 5 feature pictures. They can nail. I think it was 91%.
Oh yeah,
nail your political party.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's that's the deep state. But I already know they're in my cell phone. What the hell? Send them some dick pics right now.
But you're right. I mean, am I going to know how deep racism is or sexism or whatever? Probably not. But I'm going to know kind of where somebody is leaning.
I had the weirdest phenomenon because like I thought Trump was going to win really early on because my dad is like a Reagan conservative, loved William F. Buckley. He would not admit that he was going to vote for Donald Trump, but he would talk bad about Hillary, but he would never admit publicly. Yeah. And that happened like with this church group that I talked to. And it's like the Hawthorne effect was in North Carolina when Jesse Helm sent out an ad about affirmative action of a black guy getting a job hired and then a white guy getting a did not get the job letter. And what they found in this polling was the Hawthorne effect is that if you poll white people, they'll tell you they're going to vote for the black candidate and they never do. And so it was a reverse Hawthorne effect where Republicans wouldn't admit to voting for Trump. They'd only talk negatively about Hillary.
White people are sneaky.
Well, we're racist because we're white males.
You can't trust Caucasians whatsoever.
Luckily, I'm quarter Cherokee, so like you guys are all on my land.
Smallpox didn't get him.
I'm German.
Maybe
so
next time.
I'm giving it back.
Full circle.
Hey, somebody give him some free booze.
Yeah.
Maybe a gambling
Is there a casino
license
around here? Anybody got any diabetes?
All right, so
What did we learn there?
nothing.
No, but Trump, like the coarsening of culture.
I am curious. I was just curious to see if like you interact with a lot of men, especially, and I think that I've seen men just sort of change a little bit since Trump got elected.
We have, though, a sample set. Tech, I've noticed, is very either techno-libertarian or liberal. It's not socially acceptable to be conservative for the most part.
It's like
because it's backwoods
listening
and against
to Anthrax or wearing scarves and sipping tea.
No,
right.
really, like
I like
Peter
Anthrax,
Thiel's a
but-
pretty good he's a really rare Republican.
I mean, most of the people with me from a conservative angle, we look at conservative and we say they had the opportunity to actually be conservative and they didn't.
Right.
They went the opposite direction. And so I don't believe anybody anymore when they say they're a conservative. I just don't believe them.
Well, they don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
To quote
true.
Edmund Burke, they're like,
Yeah.
I was talking literally to Mike Pence's body man, and I had to tell him what the principle, the principles of economic conservatism were, and he didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. Right.
what? Like, you're the head of the GOP, and you don't understand what, your own principles were written?
I almost feel like what happened after one was all of a sudden people on the left that were really angry and really vocal, because that's a lot of in the tech industry, very, very left leaning. Most of them are big,
Jack Dorsey.
Most of them are big cities. Most of them are they're in their $1 million, penthouses.
Limousine liberals.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I saw was all of a sudden after the election, they stopped being mean. That's not to say they didn't stop being critical. They're still critical and they're still angry, but they stopped being mean. And that's probably the one thing that I've seen is I can actually have a dialogue online now with these people that hated me before the election.
Well, I can tell you, I actually felt like I saw a bigger change when Obama was elected.
Yep.
Right? Because,
Huge.
And I come at it from this standpoint, more than Trump, is I felt like once Obama was elected, a lot of white folks just kind of thought, all right, racism's over.
I'm not racist. My president's the black guy.
Right?
Literally, is what it was like.
Then we saw over 8 years, right, we started seeing all these riots and all these issues and this police culture, inner city problem and all these different things happening. And
Huge
it was kind of a magnified effect. And I believe all that really started to come. It was always there, but it became magnified because I truly think that a big portion of America thought racism was over with him being elected.
Yeah, they assuaged their guilt finally. Like that, the original sin had been atoned for. And he's half Scotch-Irish. Like everybody was like, yeah, he's black. Like, well, he actually talked about in his book, how he felt more comfortable in Iowa eating corn with the VFW guys because that was his growing up experience with his grandparents.
You're so racist.
But no, that's the audacity of hope.
The biggest change with Trump being elected, though, is I'll say I've never, maybe I just know, you guys probably see it a lot more than what we do in our world, but the left is vicious.
Oh, they're totalitarian.
And I mean, this whole thing of just, dude, you lost, right? We've got another election in 4 years, and it's this whole "not my president" movement for me is the most offensive thing. I mean, I'm exhausted of all the offensive things, right? Everything's offensive today, but the "not my president" thing is one of the most offensive things. You could call me every name in the book, and I wouldn't be as offended as the "not my president" thing, right?
Yeah.
He is our president.
I don't care.
Period.
It's not my president.
I love him.
But neither was Obama. Like, I don't... Like, to me...
He was our president.
No. To me, the presidency is a stupid role. It shouldn't be there. Get rid of it.
But see, maybe that's the military in me, right? It's the commander-in-chief.
We're slowly
no matter
seeping
what,
that direction.
Right.
You
I
respect
have
the
to
office.
respect that office,
Like,
no matter what.
You're going to sit here and tell me that, like, all of this makes sense? No. It doesn't make sense. It's like saying that fuck is a bad word. Who decided that fuck is a bad word? That we make up these rules. It's all about the bullshit arbitrary rules. Donald Trump is our president, fine, but government at the end of the day is just another arbitrary thing that we've all agreed on, and we can just stop agreeing on it. Like, we can just stop agreeing on the Constitution. I personally wouldn't agree with that. I'm a constitutional Republican, but I also completely see the anarchist side of, well, let's just stop believing in fairy tales. Like, if we don't like what Donald Trump is doing, if we don't like what the Congress isn't doing, if we don't like what the courts aren't doing, if we don't like what state and local governments are doing, dissolve the bands of government.
That's in the founding documents.
It's our divine right.
Yeah.
And I went to Boston 2 weeks ago, and I was so inspired by the courage that those men had to stand up to the most powerful government in the world.
Right.
Treason.
For so much less than what we're going through.
Absolutely.
For stamp taxes, for tea taxes. Yeah. They forced Boston to take a bunch of tea and pay some extra taxes, and they lost their shit and dumped it into the harbor.
People don't realize the taxes they imposed after the revolution were more than we would have paid
absolutely.
under.
We are sitting here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devices, 7 devices in this room that can spy on us at any given time by several different agencies. One of them is the CIA, which isn't even a constitutional or legal program that we're funding with unlimited money. It's bullshit. And so we just as a collective society need to go, well, we're just not going to do this anymore.
Well, that's the graying over time of what the Constitution was meant to be, right?
Slow boil of complacency.
Exactly. It's not that. Like, I'm with Harrison. Like, I do have a love of the presidency. I have a love of, a Senate and
separation of powers
and everything else. Like, but over time, what we've done is, like, the fact that if you ask most Americans, hey, if the Supreme Court says that we can do this, is that legally constitutional? Everybody will say, yes, that's the final. And it's not.
No, states get the federal government.
Exactly.
The final thing is, go ahead.
The Republic, right? And so people don't even, the average American doesn't even understand how it's supposed to work. And so I always look at it that, the great arguments of our forefathers and everything else, I have the utmost respect for, because what they built back then was this incredible argumentative, divisive government that battled itself at the pleasure of its people, for the pleasure of its people, and now we've reversed it. When I forget what the stats were, like 99% of the money from federal employees went to Hillary's campaign.
Absolutely, 90% of federal government unions went to Hillary.
So we've already surpassed. We've gone beyond. We're on the downward slope now of the Republic.
Socialism.
Yeah, because when the federal government has so much power that it can vote itself bigger and back into office, you're your days are numbered.
Alexis Tocqueville, when the public discovers they can vote themselves other people's dollars.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. Literally.
Oh yeah.
If you have a federal government so big that they can sway the vote for their own good, you're done.
And they control the mediums, and they control all the information.
Wait, I thought that's what Russia was for.
So here's what I'd say. Like, I went off on Harrison, and I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. But
I do it every day.
If you're a Democrat,
he's getting a thick skin here.
Right. If you're going in pulling straight D, and
wow, I have never pulled the D.
If you're going in and pulling straight D, and then you're going not my president, and then you're gonna worship the next Democratic president, that's stupid. You're an idiot.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But if you're the type of person who is, I'm getting yelled at by Chloe and Agnos.
Why?
For hiring Kat as my intern.
She's a woman, and this is Trump's America. Run along, hon.
But to me, here's when I really started my path to libertarianism. Okay, I was always a political kid, but I remember being in world history in Mr. Benge's class in 11th grade, and Mr. Benge talked about the illusions of power, and he said, at any moment, you all could just stand up. There's 20 of you and one of me. You all think I have authority, but the second you all just decide to pick me up, carry me out in the street, throw me out, and form your own thing, you can. And that's what our founders knew, and that's what we as a society have lost account of. The Constitution is not the final say. The Bill of Rights is not the final say. These are words on paper. The will of the people. The authority of Donald Trump is not the final say. It is what we as people choose to agree to.
Are you going to put background music to this?
I should.
Yes.
And
epic background
we
music,
have now gotten
West
to the
Wing.
point where we have a government that is spying on us, that we have not agreed to this. This is not appropriate.
Right.
And the majority of the people don't agree with it. And our government can't fix it and won't fix it. If they did want to fix it,
they're using it on each other.
They're using it on each other to manipulate each other.
Yeah, but the people don't care.
Nope.
I think that
they don't
at
care.
one point, every American will be listening to this podcast. It will be mandatory, and they will care because I will make them.
Mandatory freedom. That's key. Top-down, centralized, mandatory freedom.
Your leader's taking it serious.
I mean, I've been advocating for this
people
for
don't
years.
care, right?
A monarchy libertarianism.
As long as
people
I
do care. They
watch
don't have
him.
hope that they can fix it.
They don't have time to care.
I
They
think
don't.
part of it goes back to what we were saying earlier with they're looking for a leader. A lot of people just want to feel safe. And if they need to be spied on.
And that is why I'm sitting
Echo
here.
chamber's real.
And
I got to keep up with the Kardashians.
Most people don't give a crap.
That's the damnedest thing is we see it and live it, and I can't get anyone to even understand the difference between the Black Matter leak and then the leak that came out before.
Well, that's just because of your autism.
Well, yeah, no, but it doesn't only speak, it types.
All right, so let's start wrapping up because I've got some things I've got to say. I've got some people we need to talk about.
Shaming?
Yes.
Let's get petty.
All right. Yes. All right. So at the end of the show, boys, we give you an opportunity to self-promote. I don't know if you know how to self-promote, Harrison. So if there's anything you want to plug to our audience, if there's anything that you want to talk about that you may have missed, we just give an open floor for a few moments to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. Let's start with Intern Ed. Intern Ed, is there anything you'd like to say at the end of this show?
Well, I would like, it's been going through my head just this last part. Thomas Jefferson said a little revolution every once in a while is a good thing.
Yeah,
And
sometimes the tree of liberty has to be watered with the blood of tyrants.
yes. Yeah.
I don't know that we would sell that at the town hall.
Ed's dress is 1473.
Sometimes you got to kill some liberals. You got to throw them from the helicopters. you know who Augusta Pinochet is?
Yes.
He's my favorite.
Little helicopter, not a big one.
People always laugh at that, and I'm like,
It sends a message.
yeah, I love helicopters.
North Korea, aircraft guns.
Commies.
Aircraft guns taking out his people.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a tax-cutting dictator. That's what I've been looking for my whole life.
Ed, anything else?
JeffVibert.com.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Do you feel like you're starting to get an idea of how you're going to run?
No. You're done. Your internship is over.
What? No, you said self-promotion.
No.
That's his employee.
It's a joke. It's fine. Ed, go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, do you feel like you're starting to it's congealing and you're getting a vision of what you're going to do?
Yeah.
How you're going to run?
Yeah.
Good.
What about a slogan? You got a slogan?
No.
Everybody needs a slogan.
Yeah, I know.
Perry Township great again.
Yep.
Build the wall. Keep out Marion County. They're stealing our jobs. Not really.
Harrison?
You know what? I do want to promote something. I think we are getting ready to have an amazing event for those of you listening in Indianapolis. We're going to have the Amplify Music Fest on May 5th. This is a fundraiser for LLS.
Which is
Lonely Loser Society.
Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Oh, that's way different.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
There goes Spangle mocking cancer again.
My dead dad. Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Wow, I was trying to be all
Not like
serious in here.
No, but yeah, so for it's
My dad
LLS
wouldn't take it serious.
on May 5th.
on May 5th, it's going to be from 5 to, who knows, actually,
10-ish.
right? 10, technically 10, but I'm sure we will party on throughout the night. But it's for LLS. Tickets are only going to be $10, right?
Yep.
AmplifyIndy.com is the website, and we want to see everybody out there, man. We're going to have a blast.
Where's it at? What's the venue?
And it's going to be at the Speakeasy in Broad Ripple.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the address exactly, but it's on the
It's
website.
Winthrop 52 or
Something like
54.
that.
Yeah.
Winthrop. So,
So it's going to be a great time. We're gonna
South
have
of Good Morning
band,
Mamas.
you know who told me they were available today?
Who?
American Bombshell.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
So the headliner, tentatively, is going to be, I mean, this band
We're working
is
on it. We're working on the
amazing.
PA
So
system
hopefully
and
we'll
everything
get
else.
that
So.
What kind of
locked
music
up.
is it?
American Bombshell is the way I look at Buck Cherry, so I look at it as LA dirty
It's
gutter,
in your face,
fun
dirty
music,
gutter
right?
rock.
What's the song? I got a plane with cocaine, or I'm gonna.
Tattoos and booze is
Tattoos and booze.
But
yeah.
the
Lit up.
like they would be the last band. We would start with folk and
because it is a family-friendly event,
yeah.
so we would do something
Until
much
the-
more family-friendly.
Like War.
Gutter
early.
punks get on.
yeah, exactly. Which are our people.
But the beer will be flowing, and we're going to have a really, really good time. So we want to see everybody come out, dance, have fun, be around some good people, good friends, and let your hair down. For us, it's kind of an industry. You know, we don't always get to let our hair down that often. So for us, this is a time we can actually do that.
Not talk shop.
Yeah, you guys, because we're probably limited listeners here from the. I don't have to worry about it getting out, but we really walked away from a political nightmare with this and assumed control of our event too. We actually had a. I don't even want to. I want to.
We don't need to go there.
Yeah, we'll say a politician
Why don't
that
you
got
write it down? I'll
involved.
say it for you.
Well, no, we got a politician involved who
Republican or Democrat?
tried. Republican.
You're lying.
No, I'm not
No,
lying.
it's a
Okay,
Hamilton County Republican.
Oh, Jesus.
What are
Now
they-
you're-
Wow, is that
now
too
you're-
far?
Yeah,
What-
you're going too far
What is
now.
she running for?
That's all.
No. But look.
No, here's the thing: it's our event. It's a memorial to my dad. My dad was an amazing guy. He loved helping people. He loved partying. He loved, he was just an incredible person. And leukemia robbed him way too soon. Just stole the life out of him. And so we decided to do this every year. This is our 4th year. We've raised $30,000 to date, which we're really proud of. Heading into this one, basically, this person really wanted to make a lot more money. That's what it was all about. It was about
Be able to use it on the campaign.
Exactly, and good
Shocking.
good for her and everything else. But what we lost sight of
Her?
was
Just assume her gender.
Yeah, exactly. What we lost sight of was
Well, we really don't know her preferred pronoun.
yeah,
So-
that's true. The
Z.
sponsorships, the prices of the tickets, the bands that we wanted to play, all of a sudden, all of it was up in the air. And all of a sudden it was, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. And so, we made the tough decision, right? We fought over it and everything else. And we said, we got to walk away from this because it's no longer our event. And so we walked away. And so now we're having it on our own on Cinco de Mayo. How cool is that?
I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that.
How American.
Yes. Yes. So May 5th, be there. It's just going to be a great time. It's going to be an amazing time. So.
And affordable. Look, we're keeping tickets at $10 because we want it family friendly. The way it was headed, I can't ask a family to come $100, $150 to an event.
But if they want to donate that,
but if they want to donate, they can. But we want to make it accessible to people. We think everybody can afford $10. Right, and we just want it to be an all-inclusive event that's supporting a great cause and honoring Doug's dad.
And it's a great venue for a lot of people to see it the first time.
AmplifyIndie.com, you'll see it there. Amplify Music Fest, you can buy tickets right there, and we'd love to see you there.
You have a Facebook page?
Yes. We do have a Facebook page. It's Facebook Amplify Indie as well.
Cool. Yeah, and you can search for the event, Amplify Music Fest, one word.
And then buy tickets online, I assume?
Yeah, yep. And then we're on Twitter, too. We're on the Twitter.
We are on the Twitter.
Amplify Indie.
Do you follow the president?
So I do. Jesus, it's
great.
It's
direct access.
It is the funniest thing ever. Like from a marketing standpoint, I love him because he just. I look.
It's authentic.
Well, no, I just look at this. We have this incredible media that has this hoity-toity attitude of, we're the
curation.
Yeah. We're doing you a favor, and we're the intelligent people. Oh my God, he said this. And
President Obama tapped his phones,
and I love.
He didn't even have it vetted.
I love the fact that they don't even realize they're just dogs chasing a car down the street.
They need him.
Every time.
They need him. You're right. They need him.
And he knows it.
I mean, what he's done for ratings for all news outlets.
For Twitter. Twitter would be dead by now.
He single-handedly saved a platform.
Yeah. And they
single-handedly.
And they hate him.
I know.
What the hell?
But that's what he's so great at.
Yeah.
And he relishes in that. I know you hate me, but you need me, don't you? And that's what I enjoy about him is that, a lot of guys would be too petty to do that. Like, I'm going to use Instagram only because, no, he sticks with Twitter because they hate him.
Yeah.
He keeps playing Springsteen specifically because he hates him. And I just relish that too. But, I think this has been a good talk. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And thank you so much for letting us come to your venue.
You can anytime.
Yeah, this is
Did
awesome.
you get to properly finish? I don't know if it kind of bled together there.
Yeah, it bled together. We're on the same team. We want this event to really go off.
Married, I would assume, yeah.
What?
Yeah, you guys are married, right? Together?
No.
Oh.
He's married.
Greg, you told me wrong.
I'm single.
They're not mixers.
I'm single.
You're single?
Yeah, but I mean, if we were, that would
I'm
be...
I'm single looking for
what's
women.
What's the thing on Tinder? I'll tell
for women
fans.
For women who have daddy issues.
All libertarian female.
That's what we're all looking for, buddy.
Absolutely. So I got a nice beard. Sit on my lap. We'll talk about what you want for Christmas.
He likes to play Santa. He does.
Got a great Apple Watch.
Yeah. I like young women because I'm immature like they are. So.
Have you noticed, though, how toxic it is to tell women that you like Trump?
They do not like that.
Oh, Jeff Bibbert introduced me to his girlfriend. This is Greg. He loves Trump. Stone-faced.
Well, that's because she has RBF.
I shouldn't have grabbed her, but she shouldn't have been stone-faced.
Yeah. She liked that part. It was the Trump thing that bothered
her. It's the Trump thing that threw her off.
Greg?
Last thing is, I don't know what the format will be when you run, but if it's debate, if you go back and watch Mitt Romney's debate against Barack Obama in 2012, the first one that he won, he's a master at anytime like someone throws an attack, picking the three important things and then always using that. Like he's sitting there taking notes, writing out threes all the time. And so when you need something to keep data in your head, stick to 3 bullet points as a retort every time. And that was honestly one of the best debates I've ever seen for sparring between the two. Especially if you're not a naturally gifted debater. And then a master debater.
I saw Doug's lights go on in his attic. He was ready to say it.
A math debater.
I'm about ready to switch to RedTube and get this game on. So
wow. Well, I think we've got the seeds of a future political rock star.
Yeah.
Did you say seeds?
Planting the seeds of liberty.
Ed, it's so great to have you as an intern. We're going to plant some seeds of liberty in you.
You know what I was thinking? There's something there with the plant, too. Like how you are the right person. You spend a whole lifetime nurturing and cultivating plants, and that's what I can do for your school children.
Yeah.
We would plant the seeds in, our dear leader's wide inbox, but it looks like Jeremy's already filled that up.
Oh,
so.
He gets fan mail.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he gets Pilates instructors like you wouldn't believe.
I do real well.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pilates
Nice.
My last was yoga. She was a nightmare.
Yeah, they're all crazy, but that's part of the fun, is they're nuts.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah.
You like
there was a girl
borderline personality.
Oh, there was a girl that I was interested in, and that I was like, hey, I see you're single. You want to go out? Yeah, let's go out. And then she was married within a month. No. She broke up with a long-term boyfriend.
Yeah.
I talked to her a couple weeks later because you got to give a grieving period after a 5-year relationship ends. You got to give a couple weeks. And then I was like, yeah, let's, when you're ready, let's get some dinner. And she's like, okay, that sounds awesome. A week later, she's with a guy. 3 weeks later, they're married. Totally different guy.
Wow.
That's what I'm into.
Wow.
That's
when you know, you know.
Listen, ladies, if you find dear leader attractive, you need a therapist. You need to go get help, right?
I don't. I think you need to widen. We talked about this last night.
You
have the smallest target market I've ever seen.
Right.
Psychologically damaged and under 22.
I kind of like pregnant and married.
That's an exaggeration.
I kind of like
pregnant and married.
Yeah, pregnant and married. That way you don't have to buy them gifts because they can't take them home, and you can't get them pregnant.
Tax credit.
Wow. I always preferred low self-esteem and Aquanet.
Southern Indiana is where you need to go.
Really?
Go down to Greene County.
You need to go to the Bluebird Cafe outside of Vincennes, Indiana.
Yeah.
The irony of my ex-wife living in Southern Indiana is not lost.
She's that lady at the Townie bar with a Virginia Slim. My asshole ex-husband.
How you doing, boy?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find someone who's nice.
That is such a lie.
Yeah.
It's not a lie.
How many basic girls have you been like, oh my God? And you pawn them off.
She was too... listen, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to
help you. I don't see this.
I just like to screen my friends' girlfriends by dating them first and then hand them off.
Well, he's like, no, she's totally stable. She wouldn't wake up. I wouldn't wake up and have a knife at my throat. Like Lindsay Lohan is his perfect woman.
Oh, yeah. That's my jam.
What?
Yeah.
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 Oh, my God.
I need a traumatic history or else I'm bored.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you mentor them.
Listen,
give them a podcast.
That's not true. Miranda.
Mine's Winona Ryder.
No, not Miranda.
Mine's Winona Ryder.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Now
yeah.
listen,
I would go rob a store.
We go shoplifting together.
I'd vote for a liberal for her.
I've tried to date nice girls these last 3.5 years. I want to.
I know.
I really want to.
You give a sincere effort.
There was a girl last fall that I was just like, this girl is so perfect. She's so great. There's nothing wrong with her whatsoever. I gave it like 2 months, 3 or 4 months or whatever, like 5 dates, and I was just like, hey, I got to be honest. Like, we want different things, but I can't do it because you're not going to kill me.
Honestly, like these sweet, totally heart of the earth Midwestern girls, and that are into him, and he's just like, I literally am about to hit my dick with a hammer. I'm so bored.
I'm so bored.
Yeah.
So bored.
And so you're like, give me that 20-year-old, lives with her parents, no career prospects, crazy.
Right.
Cuts.
Right. Cutting is a big...
Oh, yeah, not joking.
Cutting is a big sign that you're going to be into me. If you're currently at home listening to this with razor blades, we're going to get married.
Slide in those DMs.
Slide in the DMs. If you have tattoos or plan to get tattoos...
Tattoos are great.
Give me that barcode swag.
I want James Neese tattoos. Prison tattoos. Kitchen tattoos. If you got a kitchen tattoo...
Or a face tattoo.
It sounds
easily.
It sounds like you need more bartenders and hairstylists.
First wife was a hairstylist.
That's right. First wife was a hairstylist.
How did I guess that?
Can I speak to a manager haircut? Literally, that's the meme.
How did I guess that?
Such a nice woman, and I'm glad we're not married, and so is she. She sent me a nice note before We Are Libertarians Live episode 200 and said, she's like, I'm very proud of you. You've fulfilled one of your dreams. I'm so glad that this is going on. I'm obviously not going to be there, but I was like, that's very nice of you. That was so nice. So yeah,
you guys have a good relationship.
Yeah.
I've never seen two people that shouldn't be together more in my life.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And the fact that she went on the second date because you got recognized for being Abdul's producer at Shapiro's.
Yeah. Well,
that should have been a red flag.
I was famous.
Fame plays
hard. So, yeah, I mean, if you want a few hundred followers, and then you just date me for like 9 months, and then...
I'll write your comedy.
And then you won't be funny after we break up anymore.
Plagiarism is never good.
No.
You just go back to cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked how you don't get laughs when you lead with that at the comedy club.
Right. Oh, yeah, that old dogs do they know joke. Haven't heard that one before. Greg?
No, I'm good. I think we've offended. Thank you guys again hosting us. I really enjoyed getting to know you guys, and hope you want to do it again. We can do some political commentary with some marketing pros. Get some dirt and talk some shit about some local people.
I gotta complain. I'm actually really irritated.
Oh no.
I'm very mad. I don't wade into the libertarian pond very much, and you're against me saying this. I already know it because this is such a small thing.
I always publicly support you, only privately.
I know, but I'm really irritated at this Alex Merced person.
Me too.
I don't know who this. Thank you. I don't know who this person is. He is a libertarian podcaster, apparently. I think we may have talked. I probably ignored him at some point because he seems to once a month ask what people's favorite pages or podcasts are, and he leaves us off.
Oh yeah, that guy sucks.
And I don't know what his deal is.
He's a faggot.
Well, I don't know about that. That's
Sorry,
going too hard in the paint, Greg. Too hard.
No, right? I don't like that guy. Literally, I've engaged him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've engaged.
Well, I don't know.
He told me to get in line and support Gary.
Okay.
No.
Okay, well, that may be why he's not adding us to. But I just want our audience.
It's Gary's fault.
Listen, I need you to do two things. First off, ask Alex Merced on these posts, why are you not including We Are Libertarians? Because I love Lava Flow. I love Johnny Rocket Launchpad. I love Lions of Liberty.
Jason Stapleton.
And Tom Woods. We promote those first four at the beginning of every episode because we really like those guys, and they do a good show. They're not as good as us. They don't have as big of an audience as us. They're nice guys, but they're not us. Okay? They're not the best libertarians.
They're never going to be number one, right?
Yeah, it's the JV debate on Fox News.
We're growing at 1,000 listeners per month at this point. There's a reason for it. And so when Alex Merced puts out his little lists of tiny other podcasts and leaves this one off, I get really irritated by it. And I get really, really irritated at our audience for not commenting on it and swarming those posts and saying, why the fuck are you leaving We Are Libertarians off? Because there is no other podcast that should be on this list.
Ask the audience to take a pledge of loyalty right now.
Honestly, you need to listen. You need to choose by 3 p.m. today.
It's us versus the world.
If you can't afford to donate, you absolutely have to go comment on.
You listen.
Terrorize.
We don't ask much. I work 20 hours a week for you people for free. I don't ask anything of you except to support 812 Farms. Go download the Liberty Valiance podcast because those are our sponsors. I also want you to add our Snapchat at We Are Libertarians. We, the letter R, Libertarians. I don't ask much, okay? Just donate at PayPal or Patreon. That's it. And at the very minimum, go to Alex Merced's Facebook pages and ask him why the fuck We Are Libertarians is not included in these lists. Because he does it every month, and it's starting to piss me off.
Call him fake news.
I don't know what his deal is, or what his deal is with us.
Because we're not libertarian enough.
I certainly have not been a gentleman and reach out and asked, because I'm not going to engage in that kind of interpersonal communication with
this is my fault. This happened last year.
If you can't recognize my authority, I can't speak to you.
That's exactly right. So
this is a throwdown, man.
We're petty.
Alex Merced, you're on my list. I don't know who you are. In fact, nobody else does, because let's look at your web address. Who is alexmerced.com?
Oh, look at him. He's a liberal. He's got those.
Who is? That's the name of his.
Who is alexmerced.com? MERCED. Libertarian activist with unique perspective on economics, liberty, and peace.
If that kid applied from Saudi Arabia for a visa in the United States, he wouldn't be getting in.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now.
All right. We got a problem here. Alex Merced is a Latino libertarian activist.
Oh, boy, he's going back.
And a hipster tech geek as well. This is where you can learn about his projects such as the...
Of course, every time. The Libertarian Party's a pyramid scheme. They're like shitty at like their version of business or consulting service they offer, so they brand it with Liberty and then prey upon that connection.
Right.
And so his company's name is Liberty Wing Media.
He's in Hartford.
Wing Media, yeah. So, listen, yeah, he's got it up. So I don't know who this kid is, but look at him, okay?
Oh, yeah. Call Trump.
Please. I need
Get the catapult ready.
I need the people of We Are Libertarians to go ask this kid what his problem is with us, and he needs to fix this.
We got into it last year during the election.
No, he needs to fix it now. I don't care if you got into it. He needs to recognize who We Are Libertarians is, and he needs to start including us on our list. And the second thing is I need to, anytime you ever see a list like this, you need to alert me. And then I need every We Are Libertarians listener to immediately demand that We Are Libertarians is at the top of every single top libertarian podcast list. Okay, we have a list of top 10 libertarian podcasts at wearelibertarians.com. You know who's number one? Us.
He only has 3 updates to his site since August.
3 updates since August.
I wish he'd write more about his feelings. He probably has a Tumblr.
There is a Tumblr up there.
You can get T-shirts.
You can get T-shirts.
Do they have his picture on it?
Yeah. So
how about that?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Ends in 3 days.
Oh my God! And he didn't even get it right. It's CH.
All right. So I need the We Are Libertarians community to fix this.
And he's using our color scheme too.
He's using our font. That is our font. That's Verlag.
Could someone tell me what Economic Snow is?
EconomicSnow.com. I have no idea. Libertarian101.com.
I'd try to tell you, but you probably haven't heard of it.
You probably could go to LibertarianParty101.com, which I created 5 years ago. And he's using the Verlag font, which I have used since 2010.
Now, just to be fair, are you invoking IP laws?
Oh, no. I'm saying this guy's straight up ripping us off now. I'm looking at this. He's ripping us off. This is a problem. This is a fucking problem.
I'll message him.
You take care of this. I'm too fucking worked up.
I'll put him on Craigslist.
This is bullshit. All right. Thanks so much for joining us here on this episode of We Are Libertarians. Thanks so much for DK Media for joining us.
New media.
DK New Media.
DK New Media.
Best of luck, guys.
Not that old media.
It is hard to do what you're doing, and it's awesome to see you guys succeed.
Well, we appreciate that. It's tough being number one. You guys know.
It's hard to be at the top.
But I mean, you weren't always number one. You are now.
No, we've always been number one. When we opened the door,
Immaculate Conception,
we were number one, right? It just happened. It was so
like
crazy.
America.
Like America, just like America.
I was born first for a reason. Okay? I love my brother and sister, but they're not me.
They're just weaker variations. I love it that you're basically doxing this kid.
He's doxing him right now. He is
50 filthy dirty bass samples.
He is making.
So he's
got a mixtape.
So he's a DJ
beats.
too.
Yeah, he's a DJ.
A libertarian activist DJ.
And he's a tech hipster.
Tech hipster.
Techno-libertarian. That's the new trendy term.
Listen, I'm done with this, but I just trust that the people of We Are Libertarians are going to take care of this.
Wait, I have to find out one last thing before we can let this guy go.
All right.
And that's that we have to find him on LinkedIn, right?
Okay, let's see what he does.
Want to endorse him for some things?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to endorse him for anything. He's ripping me off. He's stealing my stuff.
He's got a fan group.
And then he's not giving us credit for it, and it's bullshit.
There you go. Here's what he really is.
He's a financial...
He's a Geico training specialist.
Geico.
There you go.
Oh,
See?
my God.
He's selling old ladies' insurance.
Present. See, I knew this.
Yep.
I knew that someone with all of that flash and pizzazz was... He's a Geico... He's a trainer at Geico.
I'm mad. I'm so mad right now.
A federally regulated industry where you have got to purchase it. Not very libertarian.
All right, we need to stop
let's get
before
it
I
out
go
here.
too far. All right, thanks so much for joining us here on this episode of We Are Libertarians. We thank you so much. You guys are the best. Thank you to DK New Media. Thank you to Doug Karr. Thank you to Harrison Painter. Please follow them on all of their social media.
Ed, thank you.
MarTech Podcast, MarTech, one word.
.zone.
They're going to have a fire podcast as soon as Doug gets around to putting it out.
I have to put like shit tons of bleeps in there for Chris.
Are you really bleeping it? All I said was pussy.
Oh, we got in trouble for that. John Weber.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Hannah's dad got mad, huh?
Mm-hmm, because you were talking about her gargling.
Well, it's not my fault. His daughter's out thoughting up the place. So, listen, it's not my problem. Thanks so much for joining us here on this episode of We Are Libertarians. I gotta go. I'm getting close to Aunt Donna.
All right.
I'm boiling. You got to help me end this right now.
Keep it pithy.
All right. Thanks, Intern Ed. You're the best.
No problem.
Even though you did that JeffFibber.com thing, and it irritated me. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of We Are Libertarians. And as always, we promise
to do better next time.
Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at WeareLibertarians.com.